Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Football Friday. We got football tonight, actually. You ready for a little college football? Big 12 football on a Friday night? I'm intrigued. I think the Big 12 is so wide open. Almost every game, it seems like, has some level of intrigue, some level of fascination. And I think tonight, starting things off with TCU and Arizona State, and they're playing on Big Fox, so more of the country will get to see it. It'll be a chance for somebody to make a statement, for whatever that's worth. 8:30 on ESPN is Houston at Oregon State. Houston's undefeated. Oregon State's winless. Houston should roll them. Houston could be the breakout team the way Colorado, BYU, and ASU did it last year. Excuse me. I think Arizona and Houston have a chance to do that this year. Maybe Cincinnati does too. We'll have to see how that plays out. There are some teams that have been flying a little under the radar that, so far so good. They've negotiated their way through things. So we'll see over time how that plays out. I should put UCF in that group. They're 3-0 right now too, and they've got Kansas State, who's off to a 1-3 start and seems to struggle with the run game. So we'll see how that plays out. As far as the Utes, can they bounce back against West Virginia? Here is the quarterback, Devon Dampier, meeting with the media.
A couple days later, we got a chance to kind of analyze the game. Where did it get away from you guys? What are some things you guys could have done better?
Yeah, I think just hurting ourselves. That's the biggest thing, especially on the offensive side. Penalties and fumbles, stuff we can control. Just to be better with those. And, great learning experience for us. We've got to use it as fuel going into these next couple games.
I just spoke with Wei Sean a little bit just into it. He says it's kind of good to get humbled sometimes. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, we try to stay up as much as possible. But, when that happens, you definitely use it as a learning curve. And, again, I think it's brought that fire in us again. Not saying we didn't have it, but it just adds more fuel to that fire. And I think we're going to come out the way we should.
Deb, where do you feel like you can improve the most as a quarterback, as a passer? Where do you feel you can improve the most?
Yeah, always just being more efficient, throwing the ball, and just the decisions I make on the field. Being efficient is what makes our offense so good. So just me handling, touching the ball every play and doing what's best for our team. That's something I can always get better at.
Devin, health-wise, how are you feeling right now?
Say that again?
Health-wise, how are you feeling right now?
Great. I think a lot of our players are feeling great also. Attack this week real good.
What's the mindset going into West Virginia?
Yeah, again, use that for fuel. We didn't take this loss easy at all. It hurts, but again, to use it as fuel, not to let it linger any longer than what it has.
What is going to be the key in terms of responding this week against West Virginia?
Yeah, being physical. They got a really talented defense as well. We got a great conference. So, again, go in there and play Utah football, be physical, and, that's all we need.
How important is it for you guys to get a win as you guys head into the bye week next week?
Every week we go week by week, and every week is important. We think of our team 0-0. Let's be 1-0 after every week. So, it's big for us. We're full focus on it, and
As a leader of this group in the offense, obviously you're very close with the offensive line and wide receivers. I guess, how do you approach a week like this coming off such a loss like Texas Tech?
Yeah, continue to build confidence. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to have one game where we weren't on clicking on all cylinders to affect the way we play the rest of the season. It's one game, we put it behind us, and now the focus is, again, to use that fuel to go out there and let's play a lot harder than we did last week.
It's been talked about that you were injured last week in terms of how it limited you and impacted you maybe, but for you, just what was your mindset in terms of the injury and sort of your determination to play in that game?
Yeah, I was suited up all week last week. My availability was never in question. Just now it's on West Virginia. Let's go attack it.
There's Devon Dampier now. Here's the head coach, Kyle Whittingham.
Kyle, Hunter Andrews got injured on Saturday. What's up?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that in my press conference yesterday. He's out for the season, unfortunately, and a big loss for us. He did a lot of things for us offensively, and really will miss him. But somebody's got to step up and pick up the slack, and we're working through that this week, who that guy's going to be.
How have you seen John Henry Daly improve since he originally got here?
Wow, how haven't we seen him improve? He's improved in every aspect of his game. He's stronger. He's a technician. I mean, he's worked on his fundamentals, his techniques extremely hard. He's got really good pass rush skills, as evidenced by, I think he's still leading the nation in sacks up there somewhere. But he's a guy that has really, really polished up his game over the last year and really made himself into an exceptional player.
Tuesdays are always an important practice. How was today's Tuesday?
Very good, very good. And that's, we got a flush the last week, and we talked about that in the team meeting. Once we leave that team meeting on Monday, win, lose, or draw, it's on to the next guys, and you can't have a hangover. You can't let someone beat you twice. All those adages that you hear all the time, they're real, and you can't let it happen.
So yesterday you said we haven't dove into West Virginia's defense yet, but you did last night.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about their defense?
Yeah, they're active. They twist and stunt and slant, and they do a lot of movement. Primarily a 3-3-5, like I said, about 50% odd front, 50% even front. A lot of pressures. They're a high dose of pressure team, and you got to be ready for movement as an offensive lineman. You got to be ready for a lot of different things to see.
Kyle, on Saturday it was a little different in how you decided to go for it on fourth downs versus punting. How do you kind of evaluate that on?
What do you mean different?
There was one time in your territory that you decided to go for it, and then when you were in Texas Tech's territory, you didn't.
Well, it's determined on down and distance, and we follow analytics pretty closely, and so typically we will follow the analytics suggestion. Not always, it's not 100%, but I think we were 100% on Saturday in the analytics. What their recommendation is and what we actually did.
There's Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham. Now, here's a guy who's been making plays for him on both sides of the ball, Jackson Bennee.
It's been so fun watching you just get more and more comfortable out there. Just how are you feeling overall after last week?
Feel great, yeah. Made some plays, but also got beat, on some other plays. I think it's just important to not be too high and not be too low, to just focus on what I know and next play, just do what I do.
How much more confidence has this gotten to you, knowing that, okay, you've been on the field, you've been able to do it, you've got a knack for intercepting the ball, that kind of stuff? Every rep really does help. Just being out there on the field, experience is huge. So, I relish whenever I can be on the field. Yeah.
What has been the messaging to go 1-0 this week?
Honestly, just learn from our mistakes from this game and move on. I think we'll be fine, and just do what we know what to do. Run to the ball, be physical, be relentless. Yeah, it's kind of our game plan for the week.
Walk us through that interception in the end zone. How did it all kind of come about?
Yeah, to be honest, my footwork right off the line was not super good, but I could tell he was just putting his head down, going deep, so I closed the space, and his eyes got big, and so I knew the ball was coming, looked, and it was right there. So I tried to squeeze it, and yeah.
How much fun is that for you?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. I mean, my whole life I've been dreaming of doing this, so it's awesome. I love it.
Have you received any text messages from just friends and family, obviously, because they're all probably at the game?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I grew up right here, so everybody is happy for me, and it's fun to be out here and playing for our school.
On the offensive side, you had the touchdown that was called back, but what worked for you on that play that led to what could have been a score?
Man, that play was fun. The ball was just, for me, it was so weird. It was totally in slow motion. Like, I could see the rotation on the ball, and it was like absolute slow motion, and it kind of helped me look it in. But I know when I turned around, nobody was coming down, so I was like, this probably got called back. But it was still fun.
What's the excitement to go to Morgantown?
Say again?
What's the excitement level going to Morgantown?
Morgantown, that's where it's at, Morgantown. Never been over there, so, excited. They're a really fast-tempo team, and they've got some good players, so we're excited. Bit of a flight, but it's good. Yeah, we're really happy to be down there.
Whether it's catching a long touchdown pass, which did get called back, but had nothing to do with him, or making a key interception, which he also did, Jackson Bennee's been a big-time player for him this year. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking Big 12 football with Barry Tramel. That's next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We are joined once again by Barry Tramel, sports columnist for the Tulsa World. Barry, good morning.
How's things in Salt Lake?
Not nearly as exciting as they are in Oklahoma. And everyone in Oklahoma waited for you to come back from Monterey before they made all the news. That's incredible. You have a tremendous amount of power.
I'm very much appreciative that all that crap didn't happen while I was gone, because my wife would not have been very happy, me holed up in a hotel room, writing up stuff like that instead of driving Big Sur or touring the aquarium or whatever else we were going to do. So,
Barry, as an old newspaper guy myself for 23 years, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. You know, it's probably the third wildest, breaking news day. You know, when both teams are playing or the Thunder's playing on a college football Saturday, I mean, that's a huge sports day. But in terms of breaking news, it's hard to beat that. In 1994, our State House of Representatives voted 52 to 47 in the afternoon to not impeach the governor. Everybody thought the governor was going to lose his job, but he just, by the skin of his chinny chin chin, he kept his job. And then later that night, Bud Wilkinson died, the legendary coach.
Yeah.
So the Oklahoman and the Tulsa World, they just had to tear up their front pages, you know, and try to put both of them up there. On New Year's Eve, 1995, OU and OSU both hired a head football coach on the very same day.
Oh, they did?
which was nuts. But this would probably complete the triple crown of craziest breaking news days.
So evaluate the Gundy situation. Was it something that was justified right now? Did he deserve more time? What do you think?
Well, I always think it's low rent to fire a coach in midseason. Or if you want to say you're out, but you can finish the year, you know, that's okay. I just hate breaking up teams because we preach team, family, family, family. And then, you know, when it's convenient to chop somebody's head off and say go down the road, we do it.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. However, we knew it was coming. As soon as it got about 20-3 after 5 minutes in Oregon, you knew, this isn't good. And then getting beat by 66 points, then losing to Tulsa, and not in any kind of flukish way. Just Tulsa was just better than them that night, and maybe every night. And you knew it was over at that point. You just didn't know when. I think they made the decision over the weekend, but they had to get the regents rallied up and, you know, had to get everything settled. So it's unfortunate. Somebody like Mike Gundy, a university icon, a Cowboy hero. But the truth is, he's paid a whole lot of money to put a product on the field. They don't require him to win championships, but they do require him to not be an embarrassment to for his team to not be an embarrassment to the athletic department, and it basically was. I mean, they're awful. So you knew it was time.
Did he get fired as much for losing 11 out of 12 games, or did he get fired because there was contention and he'd rubbed people the wrong way and been confrontational, all that, and they were looking to pull the ripcord as quickly as possible, as you said, not just during the season, but literally in September, way early?
Well, he had no runway to try to get back, right? Over the years, he had alienated virtually every segment that has anything to do with OSU football. You know, he didn't get along with his bosses often. He didn't get along the current bosses, yes. Previous bosses, no. He didn't get along with boosters, not just Boone Pickens, but all kinds of people. He didn't get along with his players who revolted in 2020. He didn't get along with the fans who he offended last year. And you look around and saying, you know, what are we getting out of this guy? We're paying him $7 million a year, and he really doesn't do much except win football games. And then when you do that, you better win football games.
Yeah.
And he quit winning football games. They've lost, they've lost 11 of 12 now. The only victories over Tennessee Martin. They lost, 11 out of 12. And the only victories over a 1AA squad that they didn't dominate. And, it's just, it's not a good situation. And firing guys early, as much as I don't like it, it does give you a little bit of a jump start on chasing people. Two of the biggest hires in this decade, USC stealing Lincoln Riley, LSU stealing Bryan Kehl. Those were openings that were created in September or maybe early October for Ed Orgeron. I can't remember. But very early. Nebraska is an underrated one. They fired Scott Frost 3 games into the 22 season. And, going to get on their coaching search. The Panthers fire Matt Rule in October. All of a sudden, he's a great candidate and on the college game. And he doesn't have a job. They have an opening. That was a deal they could get done pretty quick. So there's advantages to it. There just is, as much as I don't like it. So we'll see if OSU can take advantage of it.
The thing that's baffling me is that in 2023, he goes 10-4, or they go 7-2 in the conference and all that, finishes ranked 16th. I'm looking at it. And then last year, they start 3-0, and then everything changes. It's so quick, at least in my mind, from an outsider's perspective. How did it happen like that?
It's a mystery. We don't really know. But you're right. They had a great year in 21, finished 7th in the country, won the Fiesta Bowl, beat Notre Dame. And legitimately, they came 6 inches from maybe making the 14 playoff. I mean, it was a serious football team. And they opened 22 by going 6-1, beat Texas. They were ranked back in the top 10. And from the end, but the second half of 22 and the first half of 23, they were terrible again. Then they get good again. Then last year, and it wasn't year to year. It was like mid-season to mid-season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just what it is. It strikes me that there was a severe lack of quality control. And I think that rests on the head coach. A lot of it was quarterbacking. They got out of the good quarterback business. I don't recommend that for any football coach anywhere, and they did. And, they had some good athletes, but they didn't really expand on that. The lines ended up not being as good in the last few years. The overall talent level at OSU has been in gradual decline. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're winless in the Big 12, and you're just not getting anything done. So it's a puzzling fall, but it's a cautionary tale, no doubt.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing I'm looking at for other coaches in this similar situations. Got to make sure it doesn't happen to them.
I'm curious what you think.
It's a mess.
Yeah. I'm curious what you think of how the job lines up in the Big 12. What are good jobs? What are mediocre jobs? What are bad jobs? Set aside the team, because a coach, and Matt Campbell at Iowa State might be a good example of this, a coach might be helping a program overachieve where it sits based on its resources, its recruiting, recruiting base, all that kind of stuff. Where does the Oklahoma State job stack up? Are a lot of people going to want it? And are really good coaches going to want it?
Well, I think a lot of people will want it, because here's what I've said for years about the buyouts and the cult of coaches, where they're elevated and they're sort of treated as royalty. It's all backwards. They got the market backwards. There are way more good coaches than there are good jobs. And we act like, there's 20 good coaches for 68 jobs. That's not true. So OSU will be able to attract a good coach. Now, they might miss, but there's plenty out there. Your question about what does OSU rank in the jobs, is fascinating because one of the charms of the new Big 12 is, and maybe I've used this on you guys before, but it strikes me as Canada. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Canada, but every place I've been in Canada, I'm stunned at how it's a lot different than the USA in that it looks like everybody lives a whole lot alike. I don't see a bunch of opulent mansions, and I don't see slums. You know, whoever's the richest and the poorest, they're not that far apart in how they live. And the Big 12 is a lot like that, in that whatever we claim is the best job, it might be Utah, it might be probably Texas Tech now, thanks to Cody Campbell. But whoever it is, compared to whatever the worst job is, maybe Cincinnati, I don't know. But the difference is not extreme. So wherever Oklahoma State is, and there was a time when it would be considered one of the better jobs, but it doesn't take much to drop you down in that kind of scenario. Right now, it's on the lower end for reasons of its own making. Leadership void, lack of recent success, those kinds of things. So I just don't know. I don't know how quick you can get back up. Probably pretty quick, but I know this: you can fall really quick, and they prove that. I mean, now you guys remember when this thing started? We were talking about OSU and Utah.
Yeah.
Being the flagships.
Right. I know, it's stunning.
Yeah.
Not sure I've ever seen anything like it that quick from last year to basically about 1 year's time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you speak of Texas Tech. I wonder if the Texas Tech Cody Campbell's, what we saw Saturday, is going to be what we're going to see for the next X amount of years. Is the cash going to end up being like an Oregon?
Well, yeah, he's if he wants to keep giving it, I think it's there for a good while. Now the difference is he had a company and sold it. Phil Knight didn't sell his company; it's still churning out shoes and apparel. So I think there's maybe a limit to Cody Campbell's benevolence to Tech, but I do think that Tech is situated to win big for a while. I was impressed. I actually got to watch a good chunk of that game, and for most of the game, I kept thinking, well, these are two pretty even teams, and Utah's just not getting any plays, and it could happen, and Tech, got some good play out of their backup quarterback, which impressed me, and then the turnovers and all that. You guys know more about it than I do. But anyway, but what really concerned me is after the game, when I saw Kyle Whittingham say that he was sort of stunned at, and I forgot his terminology, but he said they dominated us on the line.
Yeah, he said never in a million years would he have thought that.
Yeah. When he said that, I thought, uh-oh, that's a serious statement. It's way more relevant than almost anything any coach says on any Saturday. And when I heard that, I thought, Texas Tech might just win this thing going away. If they can do that to Utah, I don't know why they couldn't do that to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think there's a chance the Big 12's found, at least for this year. Who knows about next year? But Texas Tech has found its kingpin for 25, and maybe a team that could even, get one of those buys even without the automatic berth.
Were you surprised that Texas Tech got such good play from the backup quarterback, Will Hammond, or in that part of the country, was there a lot known about him and a lot of expectations? Because Morton underthrew two deep balls. One could have been a touchdown. The other should have been a big gain. And they both got picked off, and it kept the Utes in it at a time when they were struggling to score. But once they let Hammond get into the flow of the game and let him start throwing, they went down the field 3 times in a row really quickly.
I didn't know anything about Hammond, I have to admit. There was a time I knew all about the Texas Tech quarterback depth chart. OSU played them both every year. Both played Tech every year. And Mike Leach was, turning the thing into a big deal. So I knew all about Tech quarterbacking and followed it pretty close. really fallen out of that in the last 5 years. Don't pay much attention to it. I thought Baron Morton was a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. Seen a lot of the things you've described just to get from the Utah game. But I'm always surprised in this day and age when your backup quarterback comes in, because nobody really has an established backup quarterback like in the old days. I mean, in 2018, OU's backup quarterback was Kyler Murray. In his 2017, in his third college season, he was Baker Mayfield's backup quarterback. That ain't happening in 2025. There's not anybody like that sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
So I didn't think Tech would have somebody, great on the bench. But I was very impressed with the guy, too. And, for all I know, they weren't playing the right guy. Most backups these days that are effective are guys who come up like the Mississippi guy from Ferris State, Division II, Chambliss, come in and done a great job filling in. And most of your backups are either journeymen who just really probably are not great, but maybe can get you through a game, or a young guy that you don't know anything about, and maybe he works, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, speaking of OU, Mateer goes down, say in a month or so. Hawkins has played a little bit. I think that they might be able to withstand that and still keep themselves in the hunt for a playoff, obviously, and then maybe a bye, because if Mateer can come back next month or later in the season, that's when the schedule gets a little tougher. What do you think?
Yeah, if this was going to happen, it's the best time to do it. In a 4-week span, their only really tough game is Texas, and, of course, that's a major thing, having to play Texas without your quarterback. But Kent State before Texas, South Carolina after Texas. The Gamecocks aren't what we thought they were. So, yeah, if they can get Hawkins back by mid to late October, if they can get Mateer back by mid to late October, they'll still be in the race, I think. But, man, they sure would like to have him against Texas. Forget the playoff. They want to beat Texas. I mean, if you tell Whittingham or Kalani, hey, you're going to be without your quarterback in the Holy War, but you'll be all right elsewhere. That's not any kind of solace. You want your quarterback in the Holy War. You want your quarterback in Red River. So they're hoping for a miracle that he could return, but looks like probably not.
Well, Barry, we appreciate it as always. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being the guy who's covering all the big stories right there in college football that are all right in your backyard. Unbelievable.
Well, I need it's crazy. We had on college football's homepage on ESPN, we had the 1 and 2 stories there most of Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah. So needed a little bit of a relief, I guess. I don't think anything happened yesterday. It shifted over to the news and went to politics yesterday. So thanks to politics for helping us out.
He's Barry Tramel. He's a sports columnist for the Tulsa World, and he talks all things Big 12 with us every week right here on The Zone. Quarterback's out at Oklahoma for a month, and the coach is out permanently at Oklahoma State. What a day.
I know. Wow. Yeah. The Gundy fall is just, it's startling.
I was trying to think of something comparable.
Nothing.
And, David Shaw, but that took years.
Yeah, right. Happens.
At the top, and then at the end, there was just no hope. But they literally let him go to no hope. The combination of we respect what you've done and we like you personally, they just give him as long a runway as possible. And it still comes back to what Kevin O'Connor said a long time ago, like, well, you got to win.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, it doesn't help you. The difference is if you have that they respect you and they like you thing, then David Shaw gets more chances. Now, ultimately, he couldn't turn those chances into something and keep his gig. Whereas, as Barry detailed, and that was, I knew it wasn't good, but man, Barry really laid it out there. Well, here's where he irritated the fan. That's where he irritated the boosters.
If he won, who cares?
Oh, I get it. But 12 games isn't a lot of runway to turn it around. And I also don't think deep down anybody thought he was going to turn it around.
But I understand that. But I'm talking about the literal fall. being so quick. All
It
of
was
it,
a
whether he
cliff.
was a nice
It
guy
wasn't-
and everybody was warm and fuzzy. I don't care about that.
It wasn't down a hill. It was.
They were 3-0 this time last year.
He's nationally ranked. He loses 11 out of 12, and his job is over. That's
startling.
That compact time window just doesn't happen.
Right.
It's usually like you're great, you're mediocre.
For someone
okay,
who
you've
had
lost
like
it.
19 consecutive winning seasons.
Bang, off the cliff, straight
Amazing.
down. There's Barry Tramel. When we come back, we're talking with the former BYU Cougar and NFL player, Bryan Kehl. DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We are joined by Bryan Kehl, former BYU and NFL linebacker. Bryan, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Don't you wish when you were out just hammering the ball off the tee on the golf course, people would just leave you alone?
You know, I had some hecklers last week that were particularly unruly. And, you know, it usually doesn't get too bad, but last week was just something else.
You suck.
They saw me snap hook one into the bushes.
We saw no such thing.
But you made that statement right after I think you had teed off on number 9, was this week we'll find out how good the Utes are. And that stuck with me because it wasn't a good performance. What do you think?
I think, honestly, this is this is going to be weird for me. I think there's a little overreaction from the Utes. I think Texas Tech is pretty decent, and I think I didn't see the whole game, so I don't have but I mean, I got some neighbors who are diehards, and they were just in all sorts of the bottom of the pit when I talked to them after the game. And again, like I didn't see the whole game. I saw parts of it, but from what I've heard, Texas Tech has bought quite a football team.
Yes,
and it showed from what I saw. So I mean, it's just keeping a perspective. I think they're probably pretty good. I don't think that the sky is falling for the Utes as much as they think. I think the offense will kind of get the kinks worked out. The defense is always pretty solid, but yeah, as a BYU fan, did I enjoy seeing them take a big fat L? Yes, I did. That was quite enjoyable.
A big fat L.
Texas Tech is 4th in the nation. And I know stats this early in the year, caliber of competition, it's so different. But Texas Tech's only given up 56 yards per game rushing. So it was surprising, as much as Kyle's talked up that offensive line, that they just weren't getting any push. They weren't opening holes, and 1st and 10 turned into 2nd and 8 on a regular basis. I'm looking around. I only see 3 schools that have better numbers against the run than Texas Tech right now. Minnesota, Wisconsin, and BYU. 44 yards per game. Are you convinced that Jay Hill's defense is for real as we get ready to step into conference play?
Yeah, so I'll qualify it. Yes, I do think they're for real. I think Jay Hill is the legit. Absolutely just thrilled with him and everything he's done down there, and just sing his praises any chance I can get. But going back to the comment that I made to you on the golf course, we haven't seen if BYU is legit yet, if they're any good, because they haven't played a really quality opponent yet. And so I'm not going to anoint anything on my Cougars because they haven't proved it yet. Go out and play somebody who's really good and perform like that, and then I will anoint them. So I love what I've seen so far. The schedule is the schedule. They haven't played anybody yet, and it's still going to be a couple more weeks before they play anybody. But the numbers are phenomenal, and you love to see what we've been seeing so far.
So you don't put much stock in Colorado then?
I mean, they're good. I don't know. It's tough. It's early in the season. It's tough to say. This goes back to Bronco. Like you respect everybody. You fear no one. You respect everybody. Every opponent can come and hit you in the mouth. College football is different than the NFL, but I mean, you watch on Sunday, who would have had Cleveland knocking off Green Bay? Nobody outside of Cleveland. The NFL is a little different because the talent is so even across the board. But college is still like that. Every opponent they have players. Everybody's got kids, and anybody can come hit you in the mouth. Colorado could come hit us in the mouth on Saturday. I don't expect it. I think we'll beat them, but what I'm looking forward to is that middle of our schedule where we see some of those really quality teams, including Utah. And I honestly don't think until then we'll really know how good this team is.
Colorado's giving up 195 yards a game running the ball. So I think BYU is going to beat Colorado. And I think that Colorado, I don't think they'll be bowl eligible. If they do, it'll be a real battle, and it'll be a job well done, and they should feel good about it. I don't think they drew a great schedule in the Big 12, and they've already lost to Houston, which on paper looked like one of the easier wins. So I get your point. Like, this is a better test for them, for BYU, but it's not a huge test for BYU. The bigger tests are down the line. So with all of that said, what do you think, as a defensive guy looking at Bear Bachmeier, do you see anything in a freshman quarterback like, let's see if somebody throws this at him and how he handles it?
Yeah, man, I've been so impressed with him. And of all the good, the goodest of the good, that's not a word, but I will use it, is he hasn't turned the ball over. And again, the competition is the competition, but still, like, when you're fresh out of high school and you're starting on the big stage, and he's played some the Portland State is Portland State, but now he's played some regular programs and still hasn't turned the ball over. The completion percentage is super high. He makes good decisions. When he tucks in a run, he's a horse and hard to bring down. And it's just all the stuff that you want to see from a young quarterback is just, I think he's ahead of schedule. And so to answer your question, as a defensive guy, what would you attack? Like, I don't know, I'm not really sure, because you want to kind of fluster a younger kid and get him to try to throw you one. And so far that hasn't happened. He's been so cool and calm. But again, the competition hasn't been elite. Like, we'll see as we get and play some of those better defenses, including Utah, including Texas Tech. We'll see how he does there. But so far, I mean, he's been A+.
Yeah, see, A+. I gave him that same grade. It's funny you say that. We were talking about it, and I said, well, you have to grade it based on the material that's available, right? I'm not giving you the final exam now. I've given you a couple of tests, a couple of quizzes, whatever it might be, and you've aced them. Well, obviously the tests down the line, the final exam, in the educational metaphor that I'm doing here, is going to be tougher down the line as far as that goes. I completely agree with that, but that's why I felt all along that they had to put him in the games now. They had to start him at the start of the season because the schedule will get tougher. And, the objective here is to see him develop. And we're trying to project, and you speak of that schedule that's coming, and it's true. They're going to have several great teams right in a row. But in terms of what you see him being able to do now, what's your confidence level that there will be progression at the time, clearly, when you will need that progression?
Yeah, and what A-Rod does, A-Rod gets a lot of flack from perfectionist fans, and that's how we are. We're perfectionists. We can't tolerate any empty drives. I think A-Rod's phenomenal. He's a great coordinator. I think he's as good as anybody at drafting up plays that's going to get a guy wide open in the fringe for a touchdown. I mean, we see it year in and year out. There were some this last weekend. Just your beautiful plays. He drafts them, and he sets them earlier. With the same similar play earlier, they play somebody else, and it looks the same, and then they hit you with this wrinkle. And he's phenomenal at that. But like you mentioned, the run, that's what's going to take the pressure and going to continue to keep the pressure off of Bear. As long as we can run the ball like we've been running, and play defense like we've been playing defense, it just makes it so much easier on any quarterback, let alone a young quarterback. So that's what we'll have to lean into when we play those better teams. If our run game if our run game did get shut down, then yeah, things are going to be more tricky.
Bryan Kehl joining us, former NFL linebacker, former BYU Cougar. I am curious if you see guys, even if they aren't, maybe they are, maybe you can just say they're NFL guys, but if they're not NFL guys, if they're really good college players who you think will give them an edge that the other players can play off of, because this player is really good and requires extra attention. Who are real difference makers that as the games do get more difficult, you think are going to remain difference makers against the better competition?
Yeah, so on defense, all the linebackers are special, and they're all different. They're a little different, different skill sets, but they can all run, they can all cover, they blitz well, they tackle well. That's probably the thing that our defense has improved on, probably more than anything else, is just tackling. I mean, I remember years of watching BYU football and just being disgusted at the lack of our ability to tackle guys in the open field, and it was appalling, honestly. And they have corrected that, the coaching staff, and kudos to the coaching staff, all of them. Kudos to these kids for taking the coaching and implementing it. And our tackling is just so much better. And then the other thing that's vastly improved is our coverage on the back end. I mean, you see guys just hawking the ball all over the place, and that's stuff that for a long time we didn't have that down there in Provo, and that changes what you can do as a defense. Jay Hill is able to dial it up, and he has confidence in the guys on the back end that they can hold down the coverage, and so they've just played off of each other, and there's a handful of those guys that I think will have a chance at the next level. The overall speed of the defense is I mean, maybe I don't know if it is an all-time high, but it's up there. And the speed, I mean, the speed kills. The game's all about speed at every level now, and so that just changes things. And yeah, it's kind of fun to watch.
It's funny you say that the fans are overreacting, because that's been my experience, speaking of Utah, as far as that goes. It's like they had such incredible high hopes, and they lose a game, and they got away from them with a couple late touchdowns, and they seem to be down in the dumps. It's like, oh, no, we're not as good. We stink, blah, blah, blah. And you know, wait a second here. You know, you're still, if you come back with a win from West Virginia, you know, you're 1-1, 4-1. It's not exactly like the season is over. But I'm wondering, from your perspective, having been in these cases, when you have these real tough losses, when, you know, in game day or Fox Noon, whatever it's called, was here, and everybody was so excited for the game. You can feel walking on the campus. I covered the game and got there early, and you could feel walking through the tailgating and all that. And this is something a little more special than your average game. When it doesn't go your way, how important is it to have leadership to make sure that everybody understands that it is literally just one loss?
Yeah, and honestly, it is. And everything you said, I agree with. And it's that's how we are as a society and as a sports society, is we are overreactionary by nature, and that's why sports is so fun. Because if we didn't react, then it'd be boring, right? So I mean, that's part of it. But honestly, I'm jealous of these guys in this day and age, because it's different. So to be, you know, Uncle Rico, when I played. When you lost the game, it was a big deal, because for you to do anything, you kind of had to run the table, right? It was just a different landscape.
Yeah.
Like for instance, my senior year, like my junior year, we had a phenomenal team. We went 11-2, won the conference, didn't lose a conference game, didn't lose at home, but we lost 2 non-conference road games, and you know, we went to the Vegas Bowl, just a whatever bowl, and finished, I think, 15 or something in the nation, right? And then, so senior year, it's like, okay, you know, for us to bust the BCS, we got to run the table. That's the only way. And when we lost to UCLA, and I do remember, like, that loss at UCLA.
Oh, yeah, the Rose Bowl. I was at that game.
Kind of like, yeah, at the Rose Bowl, it's kind of like, oh, man, this just upended our season.
Right.
Because now we had this BCS goal, and it kind of ended it right there, right? And we ended up, we went 11-2 again, and conference champs and all that stuff. And it was a phenomenal year, very successful, but we wanted to bust into the BCS and all that stuff, and we didn't do it. We didn't get it done. So now fast forward to now. You got a 12-team playoff, and you have a competitive conference, And and this is what's cool at the beginning of the season, if I can take care of business and get into the conference championship game, then I can win that game, and I'm probably going to get into the playoff.
Yeah. And
it's just different now, and so I just think that the one loss, it's not the end of the world like it used to be. It did kind of used to be, and now, so yeah, I'm really not in the habit of giving hope to Utah fans, but Utah fans, there's still hope. You guys are fine. You guys can still do anything you wanted to do at the beginning of the season. Right. It'll be fine.
There was just a touch of condescension in that answer. Not a lot, but just a touch.
There's always got to be a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah. I can't full throat put my arm around them. There's always got to be like a little side punch in the gut too.
Okay. I get it. That's fair.
And it's honest too. I like
Cougar.
that honesty.
No problem. Yeah. Grew up in a Cougar household. That's okay.
Yep.
Are you going to high school football games at all?
I try to go to as many as I can. I went to that Lone Peak corner game on Friday. Just was incredible. What a display of talent.
How much better is high school football now than it was when you were playing 20, unless it was 25 years ago?
Yeah, 25 years ago. Jeez. Oh, man, that's crazy. It is a different universe. I was sitting next to Jackson Brown a couple days ago, and we were talking about the old days, high school and all that stuff. And he was a phenomenal multi-sport athlete at Jordan High School, just a phenomenal athlete. And we were just talking about how different, he's a quarterback, right? And we were talking about that game, that corner Lone Peak game, and he made the comment. He's like, he's super jealous that he didn't get to play quarterback in today's era. And I don't blame him. I mean, it's unreal how different high school football is nowadays, and they just open it up and throw it all over the place. And these kids are big and fast and strong and talented, and the O-line, they're like real offensive linemen. They're not 200-pound kids like they were. I don't know what they're in the water or what they're feeding these kids, because we didn't have anybody that looked like that on the O-line, Uncle Rico in my day, and now they're legit O-linemen in high school. I mean, it's unreal. The talent and the product on the field, it's fun. It's awesome.
What's your golf handicap?
Oh man, right now I'm at 11, which 11? Is I was down to a 9, and then I started going back the other way. So I got to get back in the single digits.
Well, stop working and start playing more.
Right? That's the answer. Too much work.
Yes.
Too much work.
Never
Too many
let golf never let anything get in the way of golf.
Right. I'm with you.
Do you put the clubs down in the winter, or do you find some place, whether it's a heated range or whatever, or go indoors in a simulator and keep the swing, or you're back to square one every spring when you take the clubs out?
See, that's what's so frustrating to me is I feel like I'm a decent athlete, and fairly coordinated, and I get pretty solid towards the end of the season, and then I pick them up here and there in the winter, but it's not like I'm out there playing regularly. And then when the spring comes and golf season, I go out there and it's like it is square one, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why can I not just keep the momentum that I had last fall? It's so frustrating. And then I'll see these guys that, I could dribble a basketball, run circles athletically, and they are so much better than me at golf, and it just frustrates the heck out of me. And I guess it's good. We all need to be humbled. So that's how I get humbled there, is the golf game. So
I've seen you working out. I've seen you working out at River Oaks a time or two.
Yeah, I am. I am out there working on it. I love it. I'm addicted. If I was in a position where I could play every day, I probably would. But I'm not in a position to play every day, so I play when I can. I love it. I got the bug big time, but it's tough. Being a linebacker, it's all about aggression and physicality, and golf is smooth and being long and stretchy, and it's just different. I'm always fighting. I swing too hard. I'm always fighting that. I grip the club too hard. I'm always fighting that. And so I'm decent. I can string together some good rounds, but then, I blow up too often. And, I love this game. Excited for this weekend. It's going to be fun. Ryder Cup. I love it. It's just a fun game.
You're 10 or 20 times the athlete I could ever dream of being. But, man, when you start talking about your problems, I'm like, yeah, check. Swing too fast, grip the club too hard. Adrenaline starts pumping. Well, that's not helpful.
All those things, man, they get me every time. And it's funny because you know, here and there you have a light grip and a smooth swing, and you just hike one, and then you're like, well, why don't I just do that every time? And then you get up to the next tee, and you're like, oh, you know, I can reach this green, and then you just grip it, and it's just so funny. It's just like a short-term memory, I guess.
Yeah, I think my problem is I'm mentally weak. I'm going with that.
You and me, too. I'm in your camp. I'm there, too.
Yep. All right, well, we appreciate the time. Thanks for a few minutes, Brian. And ignore those hecklers driving up to you on the 9th tee. Just ignore them.
I'll look forward to them. Good to see you, fellas.
All right. Thanks. See ya. There's Bryan Kehl. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Snap to Murray, 4-man Seattle rush. Murray drops back, now throws it deep left side end zone. Harrison goes up and stabs it for a touchdown. What a catch by Harrison. A huge score for the Cardinals. Harrison down on one knee in prayer. Snap to Murray, drops straight back, looks left, short throw to the left, caught DiMercado 5, breaks a tackle, heads for the end zone, touchdown! With 28 seconds left, the Cardinals a point away from tying the game.
Michael Dixon puts it down. Jason Myers, the kick is on the way, and the kick is up, and the kick is good! And the Seahawks win the game! They beat NFC West foe, the Arizona Cardinals, on the final play of the game.
It was just, all right, here we go. I'm going to, get ready for 2 minute, warm up, and just treat it like practice. I think that's, at the end of the day, like when you get in those 2 minute situations, we run through those situations so much in practice. So, at the end of the day, that's all I can do is just, be me. Our guys go out there and not do too much and just do whatever the play is called. And then if we got to make an adjustment from there, we go from there.
Sam Darnold, after leading the game-winning drive, was really a penalty, one big pass play, and a 52-yard field goal from Jason Myers. And Seattle beats Arizona 23-20. They're off to a 3-1 start in a division where everybody got to 2-1. That one went right down to the wire. Nice rally from the Cardinals, PK. They were down late, got a couple of touchdowns to tie it up, but ultimately lose it anyway.
Yeah, you can't let the other team start on the 40-yard line. I mean, that was what did them in. Then starting from the 40-yard line, you basically maybe need 2 plays with NFL kickers these days. 50-yarders are extra points practically. There's no big deal. We see it all the time. And once they started on the 40, I thought, they're going to make a couple plays and they'll be fine.
Myers had missed a kick on the previous possession from 53, and they're so automatic, I just don't think someone's going to miss 2 of those in a row. I guess it could get in their head and it could happen, but giving them a second shot there seemed like they were doomed.
Yeah, I turned that game on. This is boring. I turned it off. Then I looked at the score. I said, Arizona's within 1. I'll turn it back on.
Let me get back over to that.
That's exactly what I did, yeah.
Darnold, 18-26, 242 yards, a touchdown, an interception. Not all that flashy, but effective. A lot of what we saw from him last year. And he switches teams and slides right into it.
I don't think Seattle's ever had a flashy quarterback.
Ooh, Jim Zorn? Running around like crazy?
I don't remember Jim Zorn. No clue.
Well, they're 3-1 now. Big games coming up this weekend. Pittsburgh and Minnesota will kick off the Sunday action. You've got an NFL quadruple header thanks to football in Europe. Minnesota's over there for back-to-back games in Ireland and then in London. So they'll hang out for a while. It feels like they're test driving, okay, can we put a team over there and can we leave them over there for a while and can they handle it? How hard is that? So
they're guinea pigs? The Minnesota Vikings are guinea pigs, huh?
Volunteered to be guinea pigs. I saw the owners very excited about it. They've got some deal, I don't know, but the owner's making money off it.
I'd be excited if I was a young man and I'm getting a free trip over there and get to stay over there. Yeah, that would be great. I would love it. Never been to Europe.
Got a battle of unbeaten teams, 3-0 Philly, 3-0 Tampa Bay. So that's one of the big games to look forward to this week. See how that plays out. A couple of unbeaten squaring off. Vikings and Steelers are both off to 2-1 starts. You got your lock of the week figured out? We got that on the show?
No.
You don't?
No.
Still mulling it over?
Yes.
Taking it right down to the wire?
Is.
Winless Jets and winless Dolphins. If you know who's truly pathetic, you could go there.
Yeah, I'd probably go Dolphins winning that one.
Yeah. Undefeated Chargers, winless Giants. So you got that one. So we will figure that out later in the show. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Ohtani swings, hits a drive deep to right center. This ball heading back to the pool. It is gone. Splashdown for Ohtani in Phoenix. Home run number 54. He ties his own home run record. He ties the Dodgers single-season home run record. It's a 2-run shot, and the Dodgers lead it 6-0.
And the Dodgers win 8-0. The Dodgers have nothing to play for this weekend, do they, PK? Division is clinched?
Not really, no.
Going to be the 3 seed. Get your pitching in order now. They beat the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And they're all set. Win the division for the 12th time in 13 years.
I would approach this as a sort of a late spring training game.
Yeah.
Maybe mid to late spring training for the guys. I'm not looking for the pitchers to extend themselves, but I also don't want the hitters to take 3 days off.
Absolutely not.
And it doesn't work that way.
No.
Hitting is much like golf. If you let it go 2 or 3 days, forget it. It's like starting over.
Well, and the teams that get buys, they've got to do some kind of simulated games, don't they?
Well, you have that issue too. Yeah, that's for sure. They will do that.
And the Dodgers aren't going to get a bye. That's going to go to the other division.
Right. I mean, they're not in that situation here. The ones who get the bye, yeah, absolutely. They'll bring up some guys from the minors and stuff and let them pitch and hit and do all that. But if you clinch and you still have 3 games to go, which a number of teams have, obviously, that you got to make sure that those guys continue to get a few at bats.
Phillies and Brewers winning their respective divisions, and they will get the byes in the National League. Is the most dramatic series that you're looking forward here in the final weekend with the Red Sox losing to the Blue Jays 6-1. The Red Sox, there's 3 teams for 2 spots in the last 2 wild cards in the American League, and the Red Sox and the Tigers are playing.
Yeah.
And right now they have the spots. The Red Sox are a game in front of the Tigers, and the Tigers another game in front of Houston. But Houston's playing the Angels. They either got to make up 1 game on Detroit or 2 on Boston. They keep beating the Angels. The other 2 are going to beat each other up. We're going to. So
well, unless they tie.
That's not happening, PK. As you well know.
You know they can end up in a tie when it's done?
They will go to extra innings, and they will put a runner at second base.
Well, I would say for my favorite preferences, I would want Houston out and let the others get in.
And why would that be?
Because Houston's been there. I want to see Detroit.
Yeah.
And Boston and New York, teams I've followed literally my whole life.
Detroit and Houston have both been going through terrible stretches here, 5 and 8 game losing streaks, and it's even worse if you look over a bigger period of time. So they've really blown it here. And Houston and Detroit have both had the misfortune of being in the same divisions with Seattle and Cleveland, who've gotten red hot and sprinted to the finish.
No.
14-1 and 15-2 stretches. I mean,
there's no misfortune there. You had 162 games. It's up to you.
Yep. Detroit could still win the division. They are tied with Cleveland, identical records, 86 and 73. After Detroit beat Cleveland to tie the division up. So Detroit isn't necessarily going to finish with a wild card. They still might win the AL Central. It does look like the byes will go to Seattle, and then whoever wins between Toronto and New York, because they have identical records, 91 and 68, going into the final weekend. And Toronto has got Tampa Bay. And I think the Yankees have the Orioles. They do, yeah. So they can do a little scoreboard watching as they sort out who wins the division and gets a bye and who plays in the wild card round. So there's your Major League Baseball, DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Big 12 football tonight. TCU, now ranked 24th. They've broken into the top 25, undefeated. They're playing the defending champs from Arizona State. 7 o'clock, Big Fox over the air. Look at that. That's usually a Big 10 time slot, but the Big 12 getting the big time exposure tonight. The whole country will be able to see that game, and we'll see how they perform. Also, Houston's at Oregon State, 8:30 on ESPN. Now, Houston's undefeated. Oregon State is winless, and Oregon State is not only winless, they've been getting blown out. The Pac-12 dissolving, the transfer portal, it's been a bad combo for Oregon State. So 8:30 on ESPN, we ought to see Houston pick up a win. What do you think about TCU ASU? You want to pick a winner there, or is that toss-up category in your mind?
I think it's toss-up. I think two teams still trying to prove themselves here. The Devils, if they had a winning pattern, they would get far more respect. I mean, they lost, and they lost by one play, literally right at the end of the game against Mississippi State. They get bounced from the rankings. Illinois loses by 55 points and stays in the rankings. And I think that's an indictment on the West, and it's an indictment on the Sun Devil program. And as you like to say, an indictment on the Big 12.
Yep.
And
all those things I think are true.
Yeah. If they had any level of proficiency in recent years, I think they would gain more respect. I like that, though. I like that. And Dillingham is still a guy who's going to feed off of that, a young guy with emotion. It's clearly they're disrespected. You lose one game to the SEC on the road.
Yep.
And that team that brings in a bunch of transfers and is markedly different than last year. But doesn't matter. You lost. You're out. And TCU has beaten nobody, but they have a little bit of respect because they were in the playoff a couple years back, so you got that going on. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's supposed to rain in the afternoon. Now, that's a 6 o'clock start local, 7 o'clock our time, and it's only going to be about 80 degrees this time of year. That is highly, highly unusual. It'll be humid because of the storms.
At least 10 degrees cooler? Maybe 15 or 20?
Yeah.
I didn't know what normal's this time of year. I mean, it's got to be 90, but it might be 100. I don't know.
Yes, yesterday was 102 at 7 o'clock.
All right. Yeah, so they're catching a 20 degree
summer.
break.
September is a summer month. Yeah, weather-wise. I mean, it really doesn't – if you want any level of, wow, this is more comfortable, you usually have to wait till Halloween. And even at that, you're still in shorts.
TCU blew out North Carolina, but no one's convinced that means anything, and they're coming off a 35-24 win over SMU. TCU, we've seen a lot of ability to make big plays, so we'll see if ASU can keep the game in front of them, so to speak, or if TCU gets to go make those 40, 50, 60-yard plays we've seen them make in the first 3 wins. And then Big 12 football tomorrow. Any of the other games
all of them
thrill you? All of them. Circle every last one.
Yeah. It's conference time, man. They all matter the same. Everyone counts. And there's implications because you're going to play that team or you're going to play the other team. And so how are they doing? Yeah, this is the exciting part of the season now. We're done with the non-conference games, right? I don't think anybody has anyone left. And so now,
Houston, Oregon State tonight.
Well, I meant tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's conference games up and down the schedule here.
Right.
3-0 Arizona, 4-0 Iowa State.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's conference opener for Arizona. Iowa State's already got one conference win.
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah. So, and then does it feel like an elimination game for Utah and West Virginia? You're both 0-1.
Well, if the Utes lose this one, then we got issues. Man, this has been crazy. I had another 6 people yesterday ask me about that, and we'll get to Utah here in a bit. But, man, it's like, what's wrong with the Utes? They lost a football game. Jeez. Can we not bury them because they lost a football game? A lot of Ute fans down on the team.
Baylor's up and down, 2-2. They're going to Oklahoma State, so they get the first game after the coach is gone. So I'm curious about the emotional reaction to this. Did Gundy wear on them all, and now they're going to play great because he was a big old negativity cloud? Or the season's toast, they're all going to go their own directions?
You think Gundy changed when he turned 58?
This is a gift. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 58.
They were winning 10 games regularly. I think they won 10 games, 3 seasons in a row. Now all of a sudden he's a corrosion, and he's the word of the generation is toxic. Let's just dump on Gundy. It's dump on Gundy time. I don't buy it.
Or they don't have any talent, and they're just going to struggle to the finish line now, and Baylor's getting a gift win.
And I don't think Baylor up and down. They lost 2 games by 1 possession.
Yep.
That's up and down?
Well, they're 2-2. I mean, you win, you lose, you win, you lose. Yeah, that feels like up and down to me.
But it's not.
It's not. They went loss, win, win, loss.
Right. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose every game. Literally, on the last play of the game last week, and then who was it? Auburn. That was right down to the end too. I wouldn't say they're up and down.
Okay,
they're a solid team, capable of beating anybody in this league.
They beat SMU in a wild game. That's their
another game.
Win. Yeah, 48-45. Crazy.
Right. So all their games are close against good competition.
And then there's the national football picture. I mean, now we're watching a Big 12 in almost every TV window, so I feel like I have less time to watch all these other games. Channel surf.
That's what my left hand is for with the remote, and just boom, boom, boom. And I got a phone, I got a computer. Well, you got a big TV, so you probably have picture, and picture.
I don't.
I think you do. You just don't know how to use it. Man, that plane is small.
That plane is tiny.
SUV is bigger.
We're at the Spanish Fork Airport. We'll tell you more about that. More about that in a minute. Oregon, Penn State, big game of the day. Oregon's got to go cross country to play at Penn State.
I think Alabama, Georgia's also a big
Alabama, Georgia's another big one.
Yeah.
Bama's coming in with a loss. Georgia's 3-0.
LSU and Ole Miss. The big boys got a bunch of big games.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Hashtag BYU.
Yeah, just control what we control. Stay humble, work hard, and don't talk. Just keep working. We're not here campaigning for things, you know. We got to control what we control, and that's the things that I got to do as a head coach. And, I mean, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of buzz going on, but you got to play football, and we got to be humble. We got to work hard, and the only statements that we can make have to be on the field.
Kalani Sitake looking forward to the conference opener at Colorado. Late game, 8:15, ESPN. Colorado has struggled to stop the run, giving up 195 yards per game. Rotate the backs through there, give L.J. Martin most of the carries, but if you're going to run it, Bear gets some carries.
But, yeah, I don't know who they're going to put in with Moa being back.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
So, I mean, I know they're guys, but I'm not sure who's going to be featured.
Right.
Because I haven't seen them have enough opportunities, so we'll see who's featured, who can claim that second spot. I have no idea how long Moa is going to be out. But that control what you control, that bugs me. Because if you can't control it, well, then it's not what you can control. So it doesn't make any sense. Control what we can control. Well, that's a given. You can control it. If you can't control it, then you couldn't control it. So how do you control what you can't control if you didn't control it?
I think implied in there is don't waste energy on stuff you can't control.
But if you can't control it, then you don't control it. So how do you control it?
So don't waste energy on it, is the implied part that he didn't say.
No, that's over here. Okay. You want to control what you can control. Well, if you don't control it, how can you control it?
DJ?
No, I'm not done.
Oh.
If you control what you can't control, how do you control it in the first place?
DJ.
Think about it.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
I'm very confident that this team is not going to allow that to happen. You know, just their attitude, their competitiveness. Now, last year's team was competitive too and had a great attitude, but we've got a lot of things going for us. We just had an off day offensively. We've got really good leadership on this team, and we just got to keep people healthy. And that was really the situation last year. And I'm assuming that we won't have a run of bad luck like we did then, but we'll be back on a Saturday, and 200 teams play, or however many there are, and half of them lose, and you got to be able to handle it and bounce back. And so that's the situation we're in now.
Kyle Whittingham saying his team will not spiral out of control after one loss. It's Utah at West Virginia tomorrow, 1:30, Big Fox.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. As I was saying, we all talk to fans, and largely to BYU and Utah fans, and many people in this week, because we're now at the end of the week, right? I don't remember as many people talking to me, Ute fans, with a negative slant. And I know they're scarred. But this is not, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is not here we go again. I really don't believe that. But yet, that's the sentiment I've been getting. And it's completely anecdotal. This is not a researched survey here by any stretch. I'm just talking like the conversations that we have at the golf course, yesterday walking a dog, those types of things, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. And I don't know what percentage of the fan base it is, because like you say, it's anecdotal. I don't know if 30% of the fans are worked up or 80% of the fans are worked up, but there is a portion that's doom and gloom. And there's multiple factors here. It is scarred from last year, and it's
last 2 years with the quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
It is expectations set by 2018, 19, 2021, and 2022.
And that's fine. That's good.
And so there's that. And there is a portion of the fan base that's always preparing itself for the next negative disaster that's right around the corner. So there's
it's not
there's
tomorrow.
all those things.
Maybe after the bye week.
Yeah, after the bye week.
But not tomorrow. Not now. Not today.
Not
tomorrow. There's just – I would be stunned if they lost to Virginia. I was not stunned that they lost to Texas Tech. Right? And maybe the complexion of the game if you want to go there. But the winning and losing, I think they win. I think they win comfortably. They come back. September will then be done. They got a bye week to regroup. They'll be 4-1, 1-1 in the conference. That is not a fatal position to be in.
Utah's a 12.5-point favorite going into this game.
As they should be.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah State.
Oh, man, what an amazing transformation that's happened at Vanderbilt. Their head coach is a good friend of mine. It's been really fun to see a program maybe consistently over time that's been viewed as maybe not capable to now becoming a top 20 program, a favorite, really a dynamic team, and plays in a league that's exceptional and really has, through strategy, through quarterback play, through coaching, and through culture, emerged as one of the favorites. And at one time would never even be considered to have a chance to compete and maybe didn't belong in the league.
There's Bronco Mendenhall on Vanderbilt. Utah State, a second SEC payday game here, and this is not the Vanderbilt team that scuffled along, occasionally winning a game or two, once a decade struggling to get to 6-6 and maybe getting bowl eligible.
Well, they got a ninth-year quarterback whose 401k has exploded since he's been in college, so you got that going on there. But yeah, they're a formidable team here. I want to see USU compete, and not you had the opportunity to watch the Texas A&M game where you could tell right from the start, and we knew they probably weren't going to win, but we were looking for them to compete. Now, they did rally a little bit, but they were getting smoked, and Barnes was sacked. They sacked him 3 consecutive plays by the same player. So I want to see that. I want to see some more competition in that way. And they get out of there with a loss, probably expected, but still find some way to build momentum as then you head in to, you've already played 1 conference game, but then you've got, 7 more? Mountain West, they play 8, right? They don't play 9, do they?
They play 8 in the Mountain West.
And so from that perspective, be in a position to show well and stay healthy, hopefully, and then it's on with them in the season. Because ultimately, they're going to be rated on how they do in the Mountain West.
Vanderbilt has won their money games. They played 2 of them by 40-plus points. But a 44-20 win at Virginia Tech and a 31-7 win at South Carolina definitely opening eyes.
Well, the South Carolina one for sure. Virginia Tech, they fired a football coach. But South Carolina was a big one.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
RSL back in action. They are at home against Austin. Austin has, like RSL, was struggling to get in the playoff picture, but Austin's gone out and won 4 of their last 5, so they are now clearly above the playoff line and just fighting for seeding and positioning. They are playing great right now, coming off a 2-1 win at home over Seattle and a 2-1 win at Minnesota, 2 of the better teams in the West, so they're playing great. RSL, meanwhile, back-to-back 4-1 losses to LAFC. They got to turn things around. Kurt Schimd is going to join us, Chief Soccer Officer for RSL, coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk to him then. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
The Ryder Cup, PK. Beth Page Black. Are you ready for 3 days of golf?
Go, Rory.
They're playing right now. Europe's off to a great start, although it's early. They're all out there, and Europe is leading 3 matches and tied in the 4th. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay are tied with Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland through 7 holes. Rory is with Tommy Fleetwood, and they are 5 up after 8 holes, just destroying Colin Morikawa and Harris English.
Good.
Ludwig Oberg and Matt Fitzpatrick, your guy, Matt Fitzpatrick. You're
Once.
U.S. Open champion.
Was that 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yeah. 4 up through 9. They're destroying Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley.
Scheffler's a bum.
ASU's John Rahm and Tyrell Hatton are 1 up through 10 on Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas. So still hope for the United States.
It's funny. All these Europeans who live in the U.S.,
Yeah, they do. Well, they're going to play here 15 or 20 times. They might as well have a house.
And they married Americans. Rory married an American. Rom married a Sun Devil, I think. He belongs to the same club as Finau over there in Scottsdale. But go Europe.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
J.J. Peterka gathers this in and steps in across the blue line. Gunther flying it down the wing. Save made. No, it's in and they score. Gunther has his second of the preseason, and it's another beauty. Now it's Hayden right in. Pass across. Gunther shoots and scores. It's the Dylan Gunther show. This one was set up by Barrett Hayden and J.J. Peterka. Schimd trying to sift a pass through to Barrett Hayden. Now it's a breakaway. Theodore on the backhand scores. Vegas wins it in overtime.
Mammoth lose their preseason game at Las Vegas 3-2. Dylan Gunther had the goals. They are back in action against the LA Kings in Boise on Tuesday, September 30th. And that is what is trending, and it is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It is time for Hot Takes or Toast. The question of the day. And, of course, PK, on a football Friday, the question has to be BYU, Utah, Utah State. What's it going to be for these teams on Saturday? Where does this go?
Where does it go? Yeah, I mean, obviously, every Saturday from here on out. I don't know that you can look at it and say, wow, this is a guaranteed loss, this is a guaranteed win. It may, it'll change as the complexion of the season goes along. There's no way at this point last year we were looking at Utah beginning a 7-game losing streak. That was shocking, but I also think that's an anomaly. And I want the Utes to play well, look good offensively, regain some mojo, go into the bye week, and set yourself up for a couple of games that you have in-state here, at home against the Devils, and then in Provo against BYU, and then see where you're at that point. Obviously, each week it will give you more information relative to the conference race. BYU, to me now that I've researched this and thought about it this whole week, I'm expecting them to win. And maybe not super comfortably, but comfortable enough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Comfortable enough.
Yeah.
If they win this by 10-14, that feels about right. I think the 6.5, the spread is 6.5. That seems a little on the low end to me. You never know with a late score and all that kind of stuff. You got a 2-score lead. Maybe the defense. Jay Hill would probably freak out of here. But with the defense, hey, play soft, keep the game in front of you. If we give up a score, so what? That really hasn't been the way BYU's approached things defensively.
Well, I know Jay's listening right now because they're going to practice and then head over.
Okay.
And right now, the whole thing that they're going to do is they want the pilot to control what he can control.
100%
when they
on
fly
that.
over there.
100% on that.
So, I expect them to win. But it's a conference game, and I don't expect Colorado to lay down. They're in a desperate situation, already having lost a conference game. It's the first conference game at home, right, because they played Houston over there in Texas. And late night, kids will be there. The crowd ought to be lathered up. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk by any stretch.
Colorado's got the second worst run defense in the conference. I assume that one thing that will keep this game a little closer is that I expect BYU to run the ball a lot and to have success doing it and to keep doing it, and that'll shorten the game and maybe have a couple less possessions than you might have in a different game.
Yeah, but they're going to have to throw the ball.
Of course they will. I mean you can't go 90-10, and we're going to have more balance than that. But I still think there's going to be a big dose of the run game.
And I think for BYU, well, there's always going to be that doesn't change any opponent. I want Bachmeier to progress, and I don't want them to just simply hand the ball off a ton of times. They need to put him in positions where he's learning. This is a game, and you can approach it individually, and because coaching manuals say you got to take it one at a time. You just have to say that. Because the first coach who doesn't say that, we all want a coach to say it, but the media then is going to pounce on it and rip he or she whenever they say it.
As soon as they lose.
Right.
Well, you were looking ahead.
Right, but Bachmeier's progression is also a storyline. Can he continue the turnover-free streak? Does he look more comfortable than he did the prior game?
And then a week from tonight, does he look more comfortable than he will tomorrow night? All that type of stuff. Because this is an unusual situation with this young man. And maybe he's just an unusual player. And when we look back, we're going to see in 2 years when he's a junior running out of the tunnel and the Cougars are picked along with Texas Tech to win the thing. So we'll see when we get to there. But right now we want to see him look good. That's important for him and his progression relative to the team this very season.
Utes are favored by 12.5. Doesn't that sound about right? I mean, honestly, I think BYU and Utah should both win 10 to 14 points in this game.
Well, I think for the Utes, regardless of what happened last week, we were looking at this one as a W because we know that Rich Rod's taking over, bringing in over 70 new players. That's not a recipe for winning. For them, it's to show some life and start building and laying a foundation. That's where they're at this season. Now, they just got destroyed last week by Kansas, right? I believe that was a home game, too, if I remember. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was in Kansas. But they got worked. And so now can they show some form of respectability? And for the Utes, man, hey, the world is doubting you. Your own fan base. If I talk to 10 people and 10 people doubted him, that means there's 20. And if I talk to 20, that means there's 40, right? At least. And just I'm making a point here. And so everybody's down on you. You lost a game. You lost a home game. You haven't won a Big 12 home game. And you came in and you fired up the Pac-12 and you were one of the better teams when the thing dissolved. And people thought that, okay, this is going to be something. There's no big dog here. We're going to be the big dog. Well, you're not. You're not right now. In fact, you are 2-8 in Big 12 play after 10 games. Go put some money on that. If you would have had the Utes at 2-8, the odds would have been astronomical, and if you laid down $500, you'd have a whole lot of money right now because that would have come back in big-time bushels full. Well, here you are, so this is what are you going to do about it? Go get a win. You're on the road across the country. You're already there. You left yesterday. How do you respond, right? That's what we're all looking for. I think they'll respond well.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. More college football next right here on The Zone. At the top of the hour, it's Football Friday with Kevin Graham. Stay with us.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. And the band of the day today is the Beatles. The group released their final recorded album, Abbey Road, on this day in 1969. It is brought to you by Live Nation for all the live concerts and events in 2025. Check out livenation.com.
What was it called?
Abbey Road.
Who's she?
Why you got to be like that?
They're so overrated. Even though they hold every record at the time, still many do.
You can talk to Jake about that later.
I know.
All right, PK, college football Saturday. We got poll questions up. What is going to happen Saturday morning when the Aggies play? What's going to happen Saturday afternoon when the Utes play? And what's going to happen Saturday night when the Cougars play? Optimism friggin' abounds here.
You're big on predicting results.
Yes. Call your shot, people. Let's go.
Unless you got money on it, I don't really want to care. I don't care. I really don't care what you think. It's just the words. It doesn't.
But don't you care that the Ute fans were so talking to you, were so despondent and down that they were all? I mean, those are predictions. They're expecting a loss.
Oh no, they're not.
You don't think so?
No, I don't, because it's not an individual game.
What are they down for?
The season, that they're not going to contend. It's about the season. It's not any one game. They're thinking, wait, if Texas Tech is a competitor or a team that is expected to get there, look how far away we are from them. Not can we beat West Virginia, because if you can't beat West Virginia, then it's irrelevant what the rest of the games are, because you're going to have a whole pile of losses and you're just going to be fighting for bowl eligibility. So no, I don't think predicting the West Virginia game is why they're down or up, and mostly down. It's about contending and getting into the conference title game in December. That's where they're at. They're not worried about, are we going to beat Virginia or West Virginia or Southern Virginia, whatever Virginia
Southern Virginia.
That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, can we contend this year? That's the reason for them being down. Not, oh my gosh, I'm so fretting this West Virginia game.
So the fourth quarter gets away, and that's where they didn't compete. I mean, it was 13-10 with 10 minutes to go. They were competing fine. They scored that touchdown. We all wondered, all right, can they get a stop back and do it again?
The game doesn't stop at 10 minutes to go. I mean, so who cares? So if they would have scored a bunch of touchdowns in the first quarter and then played strong in the fourth, that somehow would be different? That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
If they'd gotten blown out in the first half, that would have mattered.
Oh, but not if they had to come back and with whatever to go, it's just reverse. No. They lost the game. It's 60 minutes. Seattle won the game last night. That's all that matters. When you're trying to contend for something big, did you win? Did you lose? That's what matters.
Well, no hope goes away. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't think hope would go away when you lose a game on a field goal right at the end. There have been plenty of examples of NFL teams playing twice in the division. They split the games. Just because you lose the first one doesn't mean you lose the second one.
Great, and that has no comparison to what Utah's going
Well,
through.
Except now in this, it could. Just because they could run
They don't
into
play Texas Tech again.
In the Big 12 title game, is it going to go the same way?
Control what you can control. You can't control whether Texas Tech is going to make it. So that's ridiculous to even think about that.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Kevin Graham's talking football with us next. Stay with us.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. Coming up on Win Ticket Wednesday, win Fastness VIP tickets to Nightmare on 13th. One location, 2 haunted attractions, Nightmare on 13th, where Halloween lives. Get $10 off nighttime attractions by using the discount code ZONE. Listen to Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. DJ PK, we're joined now by Kevin Graham to talk a little football. Kevin, good morning. Kevin, you will never guess where we are.
I heard Spanish Fork at a beautiful air show that apparently is happening. Did I hear that properly? Yeah. I listen to you guys,
Yes.
but, I want to make sure I want to see what's going on in your world. So,
Streaming around the globe. We can't keep any secrets from Kevin Graham.
No,
We're literally
that's good.
on the tarmac.
Yeah, well, are you really? That's cool.
Here comes a plane right now. Yeah, we're on the tarmac.
That's fun. Yeah, I got to fly a plane once
Yeah,
when
it
I
is.
was in Utah. I remember I think it was a client thing, where people can go up in a plane, and they actually I was flying around the Wasatch Mountains. I could not believe they actually let me do that. That was really weird, to be honest. So yeah, but that's good. Don't get hit by a plane. That won't be fun. So it's good. Try to avoid that.
It's always been a general rule of mine.
Life goals: don't get hit by a plane.
Yeah.
Try to avoid planes when you're broadcasting on a tarmac. Yes, that would be good. So, well, good. I twist and shout is good, guys, because I was definitely twisting and shouting last week when I missed our weekly appointment because I had a kidney stone, and I will say I was not shouting words that I could say on the radio. So yeah, that was fun. So it's painful enough to go on the air with you guys every week, but delivering a kidney stone is definitely more painful. All right, I will put that out there. That was not a pleasurable experience. So they compare it to childbirth.
So you didn't get an
by the way.
opportunity to. You didn't get an opportunity to watch Utah Texas Tech.
Oh no, I watched that. Yeah, that was painful too. Yes, I mean that did not help help the situation for Ute fans. But yeah, I did watch that. Now, of course, I watched it not knowing Dampier was hurt. Of course, Kyle, scooting past the rules there and not letting anybody know until after the fact. But yeah, and by the way, I get what Whittingham was doing on Monday. I think he was trying to protect Dampier, but I think probably ticked off a lot of Ute fans. It also then kind of laid out an excuse of why they lost to Texas Tech, but it wasn't just Dampier. I mean, Texas Tech's tough, man. I mean, they have the best team money can buy, and and these Texas teams, man, they, and I know, everybody was kind of surprised with the domination of the line, but I'm telling you, man, you're throwing money at some of these guys, and especially Texas teams. And I spent 5 years in Texas. They're big boys. They're gonna bring it to you, especially when they're each making $1 billion a year. So yeah. I mean, I wasn't surprised Utah lost. I was surprised of how they lost. I thought it would be a better game, a closer game. So that one kind of caught me off guard a little bit, and it's, I hate to say this, it was kind of the Whittingham way too, and it was kind of more conservative than I wanted to see, and that was a tough loss. But you're in a good spot still. Just run the table, hope for the best, get some help, and you could still be in the Big 12 title game, with a shot to get into the playoffs.
You got any expectations of any upsets this week, or Utah and BYU win and Utah State loses at Vanderbilt, and you can see it clear as day on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I think Utah should beat West Virginia. Obviously, that's my home state. Don't take a shot at it with Southern. There is no Southern Virginia PK in West Virginia. It's just West Virginia, all right? We have West Virginia and we have Marshall. Those are the only two D1 programs we have in my home state. So West Virginia, they're playing at home. That's a raucous environment. Rich Rod, I mean, they played great against Pitt, but that was the backyard brawl, and obviously Rich Rodriguez had a lot to play for, because the last time he coached West Virginia, it was a game against Pitt, and all they had to do was beat Pitt to go to the national championship, and they blew it, and then he skated out of town in the middle of the night to go to Michigan, and the whole state hated him for it. But so it's not a gimme just because of that atmosphere. And West Virginia, though, it's got 70-some new players or something. I mean, it's just. So, but yeah. Utah should win. They should win that game, and BYU definitely should win too. Although this is really the first road test. East Carolina is only a couple hours away. If I didn't have the kidney stone, I actually was thinking of going up and watching that game from where I'm at now, living in the Charlotte area. So now they're actually having a real road environment. So we'll see how Bachmeier, Grizzly Bear, whatever you guys are calling him, can play in that game. So they should win those two. I mean, both those teams should win. I think TCU Arizona is going to be an interesting one tonight. Both teams.
Arizona State, not Arizona.
Oh,
West South Virginia, dude.
I'm sorry.
Hey, there's Arizona State, and Northern Arizona. There's only 3 schools in that state.
Oh, goodness.
I know you got me on that one.
So right now.
All right, TCU Arizona State is going to be an interesting one tonight.
Yeah. I just hope the Arizona State Wildcats show up.
Then you got Arizona, Iowa State tomorrow is what I meant. And that's, that one, I don't know. Iowa State should win that at home. Arizona State at home. TCU's tough, though. So, and then, man, the big ones tomorrow. The late window tomorrow is going to be really fun for college football. There's 4 really good games going on, and that's 3:30 Eastern, 1:30 your guys' time. So I don't know. Is that a plane in the background? Am I hearing?
Yep. Helicopter.
Oh, it is a chopper. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've been doing this almost 25 years, and we've never once done the show on the pavement of a runway, and here we are.
Really good for sound quality, when you're doing a radio show to have
there's a first for everything, man.
Planes buzzing by.
That's real life.
Awesome. I know, man. That's pretty awesome, actually. I'll give you guys credit for that. So to answer your question, DJ, I think Oregon will beat Penn State, even though they're playing at Penn State. I think they're the better team.
Ooh, you do. Huh?
Ole Miss, watch for Ole Miss at home against LSU. But, man, Ole Miss never wins the big game, it seems like. So that one's going to be interesting. I do think Georgia's going to hold against Alabama. Those are the biggies, in my opinion, for tomorrow. But it should be a great weekend. I mean, we're finally getting some really good, I think, national headline ranked teams playing each other.
Yeah, right.
So I'm excited for that.
Starting to get in the heart of the season. Yeah,
yep, exactly. Yeah. 4 games in.
You know what's funny?
Let's bring it.
Right, and here we are the rest of the way. And this is the last week of the month, and then we're into October and all that stuff, and it's time to go. I like what you said about Utah.
about how, win, beat whatever directional Virginia it is. They got a bunch of them in Louisiana.
The whole
apparently
state named West Virginia, by the way. It's a state, all right? I mean, we were on the good side of the Civil War, all right? I mean, we were basically annexed to help the Northerners back in the day. But, yes, we are a state.
Okay. So that directional Virginia, that we expect them to win. And I like what you said, that they'll be 4-1, 1-1. But we've been, we do it just like kind of a informal man on the street. You can't help. I go golfing. I get people find out what I do. They ask. The neighbor walking his dog last night. And a lot of Ute fans in the neighborhood too. BYU fans too, obviously. And there does seem to be an air of negativity surrounding Utah. And I guess I'm not really sure why, because nobody goes undefeated these days in leagues. It's so very difficult, and you're playing 9 games. And I get that you did get blown off a little bit, but you also played probably the worst game you've played in a long time, excluding last year, when you had your presumptive starting quarterback in, let's put it that way. But I still think there's enough for this team to compete at the level that gives them a shot. Now, I didn't have them going to the title game. I have Iowa State and Texas Tech, so I guess for me it's easier. I don't have that emotional investment, but I wasn't completely surprised. But on the flip side, I don't think the season is far from over.
No, and I think you got to be used to that, and I'm surprised Ute fans aren't used to that after coming from the Pac-12 and playing in the in a quote unquote big boy conference. I mean, one loss doesn't put you out, and especially now when you got the playoffs, you just got to win. You got to win out now. I mean, now you have no room for error. That's your biggest problem. But now just win, and I get it. I mean, last year was a terrible year. There was high expectations last year before all the injuries derailed everything and things went south. But no, you have a chance still. You just got to win out and get a little help. And then, if Dampier's fully healthy and if things go your way, maybe you face Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship and you get a chance to redeem yourself. So it's not over. I just think, recent history is probably Ute fans, and I mean Ute fans can say it for themselves. But just as I watch, I just think there's probably a lot of disappointment because that was a very hyped game. 10 a.m. start, which by the way is still ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, and national exposure and all that, and everybody was just ready to roll and ready to go, and all these national pundits were picking Utah to win. So I get the disappointment. But to your point, PK, you're exactly right. Take the fandom out of it. Sit back, look at it. You have a chance. And you just got to win now. You have no room for error. You have to win the rest of your games.
I think there's a lot of hangover going on. And I don't think it's just last year. You fans got used to winning at a pretty good clip. 4 conference title games in 5 years. And the one you weren't at was a bizarro 2020 season. They only played 5 games anyway. That thing was a mess. So they're used to winning all the time. Do you know what the Utes' record is in the last 30 games, Kevin Graham?
Under 500.
I do.
Yes, under 500. Am I right?
No, 16 and 14.
Conference.
Just barely above.
16 14. Okay, barely. Yeah. Wow, just 2 games over
16
500.
16 and 14 over 30 games. that goes back. That streak starts with the Rose. That starts with the Rose Bowl loss to Ohio State. So that's definitely cherry-picking some numbers there. If you leave that out, just over the last 2+ seasons, okay, so it's 16 and 13.
Yeah.
And they're used to – they remember the good times.
Yep. No, and I 100% agree with you, DJ. And like when you and I, we were talking earlier this week conspiring against PK, you brought up a good point, and you're exactly right. Kidding, PK. We would never conspire against you. I'd be on your side. So, but I would say that Ute fans, and you brought this point up, DJ, and I 100% agree with you. You are in a different conference now. When you were in the Pac-12, you were the brute. You were the bully. You could line up and you can punch those teams in the mouth and those little Pac-12 West Coast pansy schools couldn't handle it. Now you're in the Big 12. All right. So in the Big 12, you got Texas schools like Texas State, who, by the way, recruit Texas, and they have a lot of money now to spend. TCU. You got West Virginia, who will be very physical as Rich Rod builds his program back. You got teams, Iowa State, Midwest schools that are in there that you can't punch them in the mouth anymore. They're going to punch back, and we saw that in the Texas Tech game. So you fans who thought, we're rolling in the Pac-12 and we're doing great, well, sorry, you're now in a conference that maybe doesn't have as many high glamour schools as the Pac-12 have. There's obviously no Oregon in the Big 12. But you have schools that will fight back. They're not going to be intimidated by the fact that you have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. So you're going to have to make some changes, meaning you're still going to have to be tough, and you will be good defensively. You always will as long as Whittingham's there, and then the assumption is Morgan Scalley will carry that on. But you also need to put a damn offense on the field that's going to score points. And the hope is that this is the offense. Whether Dampier was hurt or not, I don't know, but facts are facts. Dampier and Beck were offensive coordinator and quarterback at New Mexico last year. That is not the same quality of conference that you're getting in the Big 12. So they got to make the adjustments. Dampier has to be healthy. Whittingham has to get his hands off the offense and take a little more risks and throw the ball down the field and be more aggressive and then still play great defense. You do that, then sure, you can be a Big 12 champion again. Or for a first time.
I think we all had BYU contending up. Yeah, we got you. Contending up until the Retzlaff news broke, right? And then get this, Kevin. This is so crazy. So indicative of college football. The kid who's your starting quarterback was not in your program on May 1st. Was not even on the radar. Not coming home from a mission. Not coming home early from a mission or any of that stuff. Stuff that happens. He was a kid who wasn't even in your program, and now here he is your starter, right? So we're dealing from that perspective. A first-year freshman, we all know that. He had spring ball at Stanford. But my line of thinking is, so with that in mind, I knocked him down a few pegs, right? And I know he had the great season last year, but I'm figuring maybe, in the 5th or 6th range would be a nice season, given that, and I knew all along, or anticipated all along anyway, that they would start a first-year freshman. Now, with that in mind, he goes out tomorrow night and looks really good at Colorado. How much does that raise your expectations for the rest of the season for the Cougars? And then next week they've got that directional Virginia school coming in on a Friday night who they should beat easily, obviously.
Yes, obviously. Being at home, yes, they will be West Virginia. Again, West Virginia. But, almost heaven, West Virginia. Which, by the way, you guys know the story on the John Denver Almost Heaven West Virginia song, right? That when he wrote that song, he was in actually Western Virginia. He wasn't actually in the state of West Virginia, but West Virginia, because we have nothing else, we adopted the song. So anyways, but you know what? Here's where BYU fans, in my opinion, have to kind of keep even keel. Don't be Utah fans and go down in the dumps because you lose. You should beat Colorado. If Grizzly Bear goes out there and has an outstanding game, that's awesome, but it's still Colorado. What's the old saying? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Well, Colorado has 3 quarterbacks, so I don't know what that means. You must have negative quarterbacks. So you don't get so excited with beating Colorado. Just go out, but if you beat them handily, that's actually what you should do if you're going to be a Big 12 contender. That would be awesome. You should beat West Virginia. You got games on the horizon that I think will really be the big test. So, BYU can be a major factor. Surprisingly with a freshman quarterback. It's just how is his development going to go, and can he looked good against East Carolina, but it's East Carolina. Can he continue to elevate his game week by week and not make mistakes? I think that's the biggest thing because, freshman quarterbacks and younger players, they're going to invariably make mistakes. Can he limit those mistakes and just continue to get better week by week? And if he does, you never know. You never know what's going to happen by the end of the season.
Yeah. So you got them beating Colorado and then beating Western Michigan or Western Virginia next week.
Yes, I do. Yes. So, and who do they got after that? I haven't looked at their schedule.
So you're down on Western Virginia. You got Western Virginia starting 0-2.
I got West Virginia losing on the road.
They already lost to Kansas.
Yes, they got blown out by Kansas. I mean, they beat Pitt at home, but then got blown out by Kansas. And Pitt was a big rivalry game and all that. So, and then definitely a letdown against Kansas. But they are playing. I mean, it's not going to be a pushover against Utah's not going to get a pushover against West Virginia, I think, this week, because I do think that they're going to play better at home. But they should win that game. So, but yeah, and then BYU will be West Virginia next.
We got a plane coming by, Kevin. It's 97.5 the zone.
Duck.
Kevin, you could swear right now. We wouldn't have any idea. You and your bad attitude and your filthy mouth, we wouldn't hear a word.
And see, you yelled at me for yelling all these years. I told you it would come in handy one day.
You were training. I didn't understand. I didn't have the vision that one day we'd be sitting on the tarmac while a plane went by.
Oh, it's right over our heads. I got to scoot down.
Very slowly.
I would say this, guys. If you hear a whistling
go
sound...
faster!
It looks like some wealthy BYU fans flying to Boulder.
No, you know what it is? It's a wealthy UCLA fan going to come in and talk to Kalani.
Kalani would be great for that
plane
job,
just
by
spun
the way.
around. The plane was going north. It spun around, faced south, sat there for a minute, spun around, it's headed north again.
Yeah, well,
but as long as it stays within 100 yards of us and makes a huge racket, it will help the show. All right, Kevin, we're going to let you go.
Okay.
No, actually,
you can't
he's
hear
going to
me
finish
anyway.
the show. Yeah. We're going to let us go.
Yeah, we're going to go.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you next week. Have an awesome weekend.
Right. Thank you, Kevin.
Keep your heads down. Keep your heads down.
Yeah, right. Okay, see ya. It's Kevin Graham. All right, the plane's 250 yards away. I feel better now. Whew, I know. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. David Locke is talking Jazz next. Making a little news with camp about to open. Players who are staying, players who are not staying, players who are not getting an extension. Maybe, at least for a while. We'll talk with David about that coming up. Stay with us.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ, PK, and David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
Oh, my gosh. It's my last off-season edition with DJ and PK. Not only do I kick off a Friday, wrapping up a week with two of the greatest of all time, but it's the last time we make up crap that we have no idea about. And we actually get to talk about the crap that exists next week.
Well, why don't we start with stuff that we think we know about, even if we don't? Tony Jones at The Athletic reporting Walker Kessler and the Jazz.
Philadelphia-based Tony Jones, sadly.
That is true. That is a true story. We went to his, PK and I both went to his little going-away party.
Sad.
That Kessler and the Jazz are still not that close on a contract extension, and that Tony's reporting he expects him to become a restricted free agent next summer. So I guess we'll start with A, do you think that's true? B, do you think that's a big deal? C, might they come together mid-season? How much of this is because Austin Ainge is now calling the shots and maybe doesn't have the same view as Danny, or was the club headed this way anyway and that has nothing to do with it? I have a million questions, David. Where would you like to jump in?
I'm going to answer your last one first because that's always how it works. I do not think Austin Ainge's leadership in lack of Walker Kessler knowledge is a part of this. It's really a simple math equation. Walker's, let's just use round numbers, Walker's cap hold right now is about $15 million. So if they don't sign him, he takes $15 million of cap space next year. If you sign him, he's going to want probably somewhere between 25 and 30 million. You're probably going to want to pay him 20. And so you're going to have a hard time getting to the right number anyway. But let's say you gave Walker 25 to 30, then you're taking 10 to $15 million of cap space next year, really with limited benefit on your behalf. If you go to free agency next year, restricted free agency, he's A, restricted, and then first you can sign a free agent to a deal and with that cap space, then be over the cap and then sign your own free agent to what you want to. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense from a cap management, asset management standpoint to be able to get a deal done with Walker and then restrict your ability to do anything else you might want to do with really, from a team standpoint, limited benefit to this.
Okay, but you're also dealing with human beings, and what do you think that Kessler and his people are going to think? Because I thought Hayward pouted and held it against him when he had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, so the risk is that Walker, and we end up in a Jonathan Kuminga situation. Now, there feels like there's a lot to the Jonathan Kuminga situation, right, where Jonathan Kuminga and Steve Kerr have had open problems, and he doesn't think he's being used right, and he's not being given opportunity, and yet he's still on the Warriors 3 days before hasn't been good, right? It's been a lot of noise and probably not great health for the Warriors. But he's also still on the Warriors, right? Like, let's not forget that.
Yeah. Sure.
And so I think he'll be on the Warriors on opening day unless they trade him to Sacramento on a deal that they don't seem to have wanted to do. So, they're just, yes, that's your risk, is that Walker's pissed. And that I don't think the Gordon story is that Gordon pouted. I think the Gordon story is Gordon held it against Dennis Lindsey 4 years later.
Which is even worse.
Yeah, right. So that's the worst case scenario, is that you somehow damage that relationship. But you would like to believe that if you get a deal done next offseason and you've communicated this appropriately, that we still believe in you, we still want you, but this is why, that you would somehow be able to rectify that when there's suddenly a 4-year, $120 million deal on the table next year. I would hope that bygones can be bygones. I don't know if that's the deal next year, by the way. That's what Kessler's camp, I'm sure, would want.
Right.
Yeah, no. You're making a little. I mean, no decision's 100%, 0%, right? So you're analyzing. You've got some risk, and that's the risk involved is that you're dealing with a human and you somehow have offended Walker in a fashion. I also don't know, like, if we're being totally honest about Walker, I thought he was great last year. He led the league in offensive rebounds. He blocked some shots. He was way better. He was really a bright spot in a not very good season. He's also like the 23rd ranked center in the NBA right now. Maybe 20th ranked center in the NBA. Now, can he get to 13 or 14 and be as good as Jared Allen? Yeah, maybe. Like, I think he's got a chance to be Jared Allen, and so it's not a huge jump, but maybe I'd also like to see that jump happen before I go pay him $100-some-odd million.
Sure.
I mean, he's
the Utah Jazz signed Mo.
Sorry, I don't think it's his fault, but like, we were the worst defensive team like in the history of the NBA last year.
Oh yeah.
Right. I don't think that was his fault, but I also think it might be a little bit of a comment that maybe he's not having as big an impact defensively as we'd like him to yet. No, maybe he will, but I don't think you could have really, really all-time great all-defensive team players on your roster at that position and be one of the worst defensive teams ever. I don't think. Maybe. We'll find out.
You don't say.
David, you've done a lot of radio remotes. I don't know if you've ever done one on the tarmac at an active airport before, but we're finding it to be a little bit challenging.
I was wondering what the heck was going on in the background.
We're on the tarmac, David.
Why?
Why not? You're dealing with human beings here, David.
I mean,
there's an air show at the Spanish Fork Airport tomorrow.
I can give you the answer of why. A sales guy, ... or a saleswoman, ... I know why. I've been there. I know.
The answer to all your questions is money.
How many shows have we done in almost a quarter of a century? We'll remember this one forever.
We will. That is true.
Can you give me the whole backstory here? Like, so you're where, why, what?
Spanish Fork Airport has an air show tomorrow, World War II vintage craft, about 15 of them. It drew 17,000 people last year. It's probably going to draw about 20,000
cool.
people this year.
There's a couple of planes in front of us.
Yeah, and it's like straight out of a Straight out of you think Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks?
What's U.S. history right in front of us?
Yeah. Yeah, the plane in front of us is straight out of Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan.
So it's super cool. It's just not maybe ideal for Emmy Award-winning broadcasts.
Every once in a while, there tends to be a little bit of noise. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay,
it's okay. We're fine.
It's hilarious.
I'll just keep talking.
Yeah,
I'm good at that.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. All right, I got to ask you about Mo Bamba, an 8-year NBA veteran signed by the Jazz. The news breaking yesterday. And not so much about him, but they've already got 3 or 4 veterans on the team, so now it's 4 or 5 veterans. And they've got 9 draft picks, and they've got to assess if they want to extend any of these. I mean, the rookies, okay, the extension questions a ways down the line. But for some of these guys, they're going to be coming up on this pretty quickly. They need these guys to play and figure out who they have, because the worst-case scenario, a lot of people would say, is they missed on all these picks. I would argue the worst-case scenario is if they hit on one of the picks, didn't know, let him go, traded him away, whatever, and then the player took off and was awesome after he left. You'd be like, well, what happened there? I think to me that would be the worst case scenario. So I'm a little leery of playing all these veterans when you got to figure out what you've got in all these first, second, and third year players.
So I think Mo Bamba's there because you need 3 to 4 centers in every camp.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't think Mo Bamba's getting. But I also don't know who if Mo Bamba's playing center, I don't know who he'd be playing in front of that you're worried about. So. The other thing I think is that Will Hardy wants to be able to just build a basketball team. Like, I'm not sure he's totally been able to do that for the last 18, 24 months, right? I think he wants to build a basketball team. Like, here's how it works. We come to training camp, and if you play better than the guy in front of you, you play. Certainly, let's say Ace Bailey and George Niang are playing the same. Ace Bailey's going to play. Let's not be an idiot about it. But, like, if Kyle Anderson, which he probably is a million times better than Cody Williams, then maybe Kyle Anderson's got to play until Cody Williams is better than Kyle Anderson. But I think the misery of the end of last season, from a coaching standpoint, was that when we were sitting everyone, it just meant that there was nothing Will could do to any player in any way, shape, or form. Like, everyone walked in the gym every night. We're like, well, we're sitting John Collins, Lowry Markin, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I get 32 tonight, no matter what.
Yep.
And I get the vibe that the beauty of this roster from Will Hardy and his coaching staff standpoint is that, hey, Walker, if you're not giving it, Yusuf Nurkic will give it. And if somebody decides that they don't want to give it, George Niang will give it. And Kyle Anderson's really good. And these guys are all viable 20 to 25-minute-a-night players in the NBA. Still have been the last few years. And they've all got deficiencies. And so they're not, they're not stars, or they're not, starters on most teams. But, is there a chance George Niang opens the year as a starter? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but, maybe. If Taylor Hendricks isn't ready, which I think is totally fair, and Kyle Filipowski's not stepping up defensively, and you need someone to play power forward, maybe George Niang starts.
Okay,
so I think the bigger picture question of yeah, we better hope our young guys are better than Kyle Anderson, George Niang, Yusuf Nurkic. I don't think Kevin Love's going to play a lot, but Kevin Love. And so they need to be better than them to play. We're not just giving them time.
Well, we understand that, but you spent all this time researching and drafting these guys, and then you bring them on the team, and they're 19, 20, 21 years old, and they're not going to give it their all? I can't imagine that that's a scenario that exists.
Well, you've got to I think there's a level you have to train. I think you have to train effort 82 times a little bit, right? Does that make sense?
Sure.
Right.
It's a learned skill. I get your point.
Yeah.
But you're talking about some of these guys. We're not talking about the rookies. They've been through it a year or two, and now they're not going to give it their all when they've got a golden opportunity to amass as much playing time as possible. That's a failure in drafting them in the first place then.
Well, yeah, then you've learned what you need to learn about them, right?
We should have learned that beforehand.
I don't know if you can always learn that. This is not an exact science.
I don't know that you can always learn it either. I grant you that's an extreme. I'm taking it to the extreme to make a point. But if these kids who have a unique opportunity to receive a bunch of playing time before they're essentially juniors in college and don't take advantage of it, then I'm furious at them.
Yeah, and then they get to go on. Then you're furious at them, and then they're vagabonds who play for two teams every year. Like I've said this about Keontae. Yeah. So Keontae has three doors in front of him right now. Okay, Keontae has the Bones Highland door, where he gets to go play. He's going to play for 5 teams in the next 3 years, for like 20 games, and then they release him and move him to the next spot. Like that's what Bones Highland's doing now. He has the Jared Bayless door, which is where Jared Bayless played 10 years in the NBA, never for more than 2 years with a team. So he's just kind of out there. Or he has the $100 million door. CJ McCollum probably is the best comp at that point. Like the $100 million door. Yeah, right. Like,
is it
but every
or
indicator on Keontae,
Monty Hall?
Right, exactly. Perfect. And the beauty is that every indicator on Keontae right now is that he's doing exactly that. That he took the tough conversations. He is working his tail off. He's in incredible physical shape. His athleticism is peaking out, and that he's doing everything he possibly can to get through that third door.
Okay.
I don't expect – I'll say this. We think it's all linear. I heard a plane, so I just kept talking. It's all linear. Like, I don't really think that we're going to see dramatically different things from Isaiah Collier and Kyle Filipowski this year. I don't generally believe – I don't generally believe players who play a lot in year one and have some productivity in year one get better in year two. If you actually study the NBA, it's pretty rare that a player gets demonstratively better in year two if in fact they have played a lot in year one. The jump happens between year two and year three. That's why this is such a big year for Keontae. I think we saw, Bryce didn't play well in year one, so he got better in year two, certainly. Now we'll hopefully see another step from him. But Kyle and Flip and Isaiah got a lot of time last year. I don't think they're going to be dramatically different this year.
What do you think the expectation is from the Jazz, or maybe the goal? Those two things might be a little different for Bryce Sensabaugh, because he did shoot the ball very well. That is what they give you points for, and that is a very, very important skill to have, and he's got it. But I don't know that you describe him as much more than a C-plus in other areas of the game. What does he do defensively? How does he rebound, assist, anything else you want to go down? Do you think that as a young player he's about to really improve in one of those areas? Because if you can shoot it like that and you got another strength, you start to really have something. If you can shoot it and you can rebound. If you can shoot it and you can defend. There's a place in the NBA for a guy who just shoots and does nothing else. But that goes back to, hey, there's multiple doors, and you're not really walking through the best door unless you can do something else. So what do you think as far as goals, expectations for his development, and anything other than shooting?
So 2 things. One is I actually think there is a place in the NBA for the guy who can just shoot it. But actually now that everybody can shoot it, that place is much smaller. If you kind of go look at, like, Locke On, we just did our top 100 players of the NBA, and it was pretty interesting to me. Like Herb Jones and Tamari Kamara and all these defensive-minded players are making that list. That used to be where Ryan Anderson was, or the guy who could just shoot the three and that value. But now that everyone's about 32 to 34% as a three-point shooter, if you don't play any defense and you shoot 38% from three, you're not that valuable. Gary Trent is that player. He was a minimum contract a year ago. He literally didn't get a deal. And none of those players on the top 100 list anymore. So I do think you have to do something more, but you've got to be able to defend a little bit, frankly. I'm a huge Bryce Sensabaugh fan because I think offensively he's bona fide. He can shoot it, and I think as he gets a little bit more understanding of the game and how it moves, he's going to be able to actually create for himself in the right opportunities and pick his spots, and I think he's just a bona fide. I think he's actually a scorer as much as a shooter too. Bryce has got to take care of two areas. He just has enough head-scratching or maybe even gray-hairing plays that he just makes that you're just like, come on, dude. Come on, focus, stay on it. Like, he did it even in Summer League a little bit. And I know that, like, he just can be infuriating with some of the mistakes he makes for the coaching staff. And that's both on the offense and on the defensive end. And it's easy to say it's a focus and a maturity thing. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's just a looseness because, frankly, like he played at Ohio State, who didn't win a lot, and he played AAU before that, and probably, he's on a really good team with some great players, and so maybe there wasn't the pressure to every possession. But I would say that, let's phrase it that way, like a focus and an intensity to every possession, not just the ones where he's scoring, I think are the next step for Bryce Sensabaugh, and if he does that, he's going to be really good.
David, we'll leave it right there for now. We appreciate it. Camp will open Monday, and then we'll have even more to talk about as they get rolling. Thanks a lot.
Did I execute appropriately? Was I a good wingman, pun intended?
Wingman, I get it. Yeah,
I'll fly with you anytime, buddy.
Thank you very much. You guys have taken off and soared for years. I'm always impressed.
Thanks, David.
What?
I know.
Make sure you land this tease correctly, all right?
All right. David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, joining us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK brought to you in part by Kenny J's Catering, delivering bold, smoky barbecue no matter the occasion. Check out the catering menu at kennyjsbarbecue.com. For weddings, work, or any event, kennyjsbarbecue.com. We're joined now by RSL Chief Soccer Officer Kurt Schimd. Kurt, welcome back to the show.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
I should just let you know we're broadcasting live from the tarmac at Spanish Fork Airport. So if you suddenly hear a helicopter or an airplane taking off here at the airport, just keep talking because we probably can't hear you. Just roll with it. It's an unusual morning. We just had a chopper directly overhead. It's a big air show here tomorrow. As far as your club, I am curious. Everybody, to one degree or another, is a prisoner of the moment, and the most recent moments haven't been a lot of fun with LAFC winning 4-1 Wednesday and then again Sunday in LA. How much do you take from those games? How much are you just on to the next one right now? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, other than taking away any key learnings, you can't dwell on it too much. You do have to move on and focus on the next game. Every game is important right now, obviously, and it's critical. So, we'll take any learnings we can from it and apply it to the next game. But, gotta get the coaches and obviously players, make sure that everyone just refocuses quickly and is ready to take on what comes next. And they're coming every week right now. So we gotta shift our focus quickly.
Yeah. Before we look ahead to Austin, I'm curious in the front office, not only does LA have two really talented attacking players who obviously are scoring goals in bunches against you and against other people as well, but across the league now, I just saw a stat on the number of 15 goal scorers in the league. There are more. When you get to 15 goals, you are a big-time goal scorer. And there are more players doing that this year and last year than in any other years in the history of the league. Is that a sign of just the constant evolution and growth and owners willing to pay big money to bring in top-end talent?
Yeah, it's a sign of the growth. It's always a little bit of a sign of the incentive structure of our league in terms of how rosters are built and how GMs and clubs are incentivized to spend the money they have available, because you can't spend everywhere. And so, obviously historically and even still now frequently that money goes into those attacking players. And so obviously the attack is going to on a league level outshine the defense typically. There's more teams now, obviously, which just creates more opportunity for more players to score more goals against differing competition. But 15 goals is usually a benchmark of a top goal scorer. But you're right, more and more players are hitting that benchmark, which is a sign of of good things and rising quality throughout the league.
To be in the top of the league, and I'm looking at San Diego and Vancouver as well as LA, and they've all gone out and got players, international players, top-end talent, World Cup experience. Is it going to put the pressure on everybody else to keep pace and do that, or is there a counter to that?
I think that there's different strategies and different ways that you can build a roster, that teams can build a roster, and the more the league provides avenues for exploring those different strategies, the better. And obviously the more attention-grabbing, headline-grabbing strategies are those of Messi and Son, but there's certainly other strategies that can be pursued successfully as well. And I think there are plenty of players that can perform at a high level that maybe don't come in with as much hype as those guys, but certainly the level of investment is going to continue to increase, and clubs and ownership, they know that they'll have to continue to improve the investment, not just in the overall roster, because that goes up every year as well when you just look at the cap numbers, but also in terms of what the discretionary spend is, on those special players in the team.
RSL's hosting Austin Saturday night, tomorrow night, and Austin has won 4 of the last 5, and that's really gotten them out of the mix where they were battling for a playoff spot, and now they're comfortably in, and they're really more battling for seeding and positioning in that. What has clicked for them in these last 5 games? Because it's not just wins, but they beat Seattle at home. They won at Minnesota. Those are some quality wins.
Yeah, I think they're a team that did invest pretty heavily in their attack in the offseason, and seeing some of those guys click has helped carry them through. I think them, they had a new coach this year as well, and so oftentimes when you bring in a new coach, you're more likely to figure out kind of the coach and the players are likely to figure each other out a little bit later in the season, and so they may have just found a little bit of a groove in terms of how they want to play and which players fit where within their system and their style. And that tends to happen during the stretch run as well later in the season when you've hired a new coach. So I think combination of those factors, and then obviously, it's about beating the teams that are put in front of you, and whether those are good teams or teams that you should beat, but you got to take care of your business.
Obviously, you've brought in some players here late in the season, so trying to figure that out on the fly in the middle of the playoff race. And I'm curious what you saw from Cruz, what your expectations were, where you thought he would fit in the club versus what we've seen from him so far. How much of those align? He doesn't appear to be a guy who's in front of goal a lot, getting a lot of shots. He doesn't have a goal or an assist yet. He reminds me a little bit of the way Matt Crooks played, dropping deeper, more of a connecting guy, trying to spring things loose for other people. Is that what you're seeing? Is that what you expected? What are you seeing from him?
Yeah, he's a good footballer. He's a technical player. He can be goal dangerous in the box and around the box. He does actually take a lot of shots. I think we need to get him into more dangerous spots to take those shots. I think he's like over 2 shots per game or 2.5 shots per game, something in that range. So it's more about finding him and creating more dangerous opportunities for him to get those shots off as well. Victor does a good job of occupying the center backs and filling the hole up high, which lets Rowan come underneath and play a little more with the ball at his feet and be a little more of a setup man at times. I think the other thing we're seeing a little bit is, he's like rebounding a little bit off of his time at Botafogo, and he's a talented player. He did very, very well at Ludogorets in Bulgaria, and struggled a bit in Brazil with Botafogo. So he's starting to rehab his form back into how he was playing at Bulgaria, and that's what we're hoping to get him back to, and certainly hoping to see as we head into next season. But obviously we need the goals now, we need the assists now, and he as well as every player knows that, and so we're hoping to see some of that in the last 4 games here.
For someone in your role, and this is really regardless of sport, just as a sports fan, I've always been of the opinion, and I haven't been a front office executive, so what do I really know? But I've always been of the opinion when you're in a front office type role, there's a point in the season where you're making roster decisions and you have an enormous impact in the direction of club. But there's a point in the season where those decisions are made and you become more of a spectator and you're planning for the next time you get to make decisions. So you're gathering information, I get that. But it's a little bit more like the fans where, yeah, I'm sitting there and watching. We're past the point where I really get to have a massive impact. Let's see how it plays out. Is that accurate? Is that kind of the ride you take over the course of a season?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. But yes, like beginning, off season, and then obviously the summer window. Those are the moments when I have sort of the biggest impact on things in terms of the roster moves that we can make, players in, players out, contracts, all that sort of thing. In between then, yes, my impact on, any individual week's result, from week to week, there's minimal that I personally can change. Obviously, I spend a lot of time with Pablo and the coaching staff talking through, lineups and tactics and formations and whatever, opponents and different things, and, weigh in when I can or when I feel necessary. And, we have some really productive discussions. But yeah, at the end of the day, once the players are in the door, it's up to them to perform. It's up to the coaches to put the right game plan out there and to develop the players and get them on the field in the right spots. So, my impact, at that point, I'm more of a, I can more nudge things a little bit this way, a little bit that way, more than I, am making big course corrections like I'd be able to do maybe in the off season or in the summer. At that stage, it's really, it's in the hands of the coaches and the players, and they're the ones that got to go out there and perform every weekend and show why we brought them in.
Well, Kurt, thanks for a few minutes this week. Good luck against Austin, and we will talk to you again down the road as the playoff race continues to narrow down here at the end of the year.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, Kurt Schimd joined us, Chief Soccer Officer at Real Salt Lake. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We are going to take a break. Coming up, everything you missed in this show, the helicopter's taking off, the helicopter's landing.
Yeah, I just got...
the planes on the flyby.
I just got word from the station that next week we'll be doing it at a demolition site.
Nice. Excellent. Looking forward to that. Let's blow some stuff up.
And then I got my gas at the Costco in the South Valley area, and I-15's right there.
Uh-huh.
I want to do a remote there.
Okay, good. Good. Got to be some factories that want to have us in, don't you think? Maybe a train station or two.
I was thinking next to shooting range.
No, that'd be good. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Everything in this show. Coming up next, the Slacker headlines are on the way.
For all of you less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Hercules First Federal Credit Union Salt Lake County High School Player of the Week this week is Summit Academy's Liam Larson. He ran for 248 yards and 4 touchdowns while adding another touchdown on a 26-yard reception as the Bears blew out American Leadership Academy 49-10. Don't miss the KSL Sports Game Night Live Game of the Week this week as the Timpview Thunderbirds face the Orem Tigers. Catch the action tonight on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app, or here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Salt Lake County Player of the Week Award is proudly presented by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. At Hercules, they're celebrating the everyday victories. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together.
DJ and PK, it's time for the Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. It's a football Friday. Most of the show's been about football. We just had Kurt Schimd on from Real Salt Lake. We had on David Locke talking about the Utah Jazz. Camp opens on Monday. You can get those interviews wherever you get your podcasts. They're all over the place, available everywhere. But it's been a lot of football talk, and PK, the one thing we haven't done, so brand new for the people just joining the show at 9:30, the locks of the week.
Yeah.
So far, you have negotiated the opening 3 weeks with 3 consecutive victories. So have I, and so has Jake. We are a perfect combined 9-0. Good for us.
The David Locke of the week.
It gets more and more difficult as we get deeper in the season because we can't repeat teams.
No.
Are you ready to use one of the big dogs this week?
I'm seriously thinking about it.
You are weighing the possibility, perhaps,
Yeah.
of taking the Bills over the Saints?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seems like a lock. Buffalo favored by 14.5 points, which in the NFL is enormous. It's about as big a spread as you're going to see, and you don't see that very often.
Correct.
I've already used the Bills, so I can't do it. Game looked tempting and tantalizing. I like the Lions over the Browns. That's one that screams to me, Lions. Browns just used all their good luck and good fortune getting off the mat last week. I don't expect them to do that
Lions is a good one. I agree.
I think the Packers are going to handle the Cowboys.
I don't know. I don't know.
Packers, you're worried about them after the way they wobbled last week?
Yeah.
So you're good at home, but you go on the road and you're not the same?
Dallas has got to be way desperate.
Yeah.
Sunday night game, all the nation watching you.
I saw a stat when you're 1-3 over the last, 20, however many years, you have a 13% chance of making the playoffs. Now, they just opened up a 7th playoff bid, and for a lot of those years, they only had 6.
Yeah, it's different.
So it's a little different, but nonetheless, the odds are stacked against you if you're 1-3.
Yeah. There's one other one that I'm feeling good about.
The Vikings over the Steelers.
No.
In Dublin. Vikings.
I mean, that's crazy when you go over there.
4-0 all-time internationally. I'm not betting on Carson Wentz. Who you got?
Houston.
Oh, that's a battle of 0-3 teams, the Texans and the Titans.
Yeah.
But Houston's underperforming. The Titans aren't any good. That's the theory there.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what I'll go. If I want to play it safe and live another week, I would go Buffalo.
Yeah, and?
I know, but I keep thinking how to save them.
You're going to save all the top teams. Ultimately, what we have to do over 18 weeks is we have to make the top 18 teams in the league a lock. Now, hopefully with teams 16, 17, 18, when you're picking them, they're playing team 32, team 31.
Yeah, I haven't doped
a team
that
that's
out that
really
far
injured.
ahead.
And I feel like that's my blind spot there, is I feel like I should be doping out every week, although early in the year you don't necessarily know which teams are up and which teams are down.
No, either it's going to be a great strategy or I'm going to lose by 1 with the ball and go home with 2 timeouts.
All the stuff at last week was the league hasn't had a lot of upsets the first 3 weeks, so I think people who are in elimination pools largely have pretty good records. But I read that in some of the bigger national ones, I don't know how it works exactly, but anyway, the people who do it online, some of the bigger national ones, a lot of people apparently did the old face plant with the Packers. That the Packers and the Browns had people thinking, sweet, this is a lock, and then it bit them.
Well, I picked Cincinnati, and the Browns and the PAT miss let me win Cincinnati.
You squeaked that one out.
But Cincinnati's a good pick with Burrow gone now. I could use them later on in terms of, well, I'm going to pick this other team because Cincinnati stinks.
Yep. That is a possibility.
I'll wait. I'll when Dion is right and Shedeur starts.
Okay. The Bengals are at the Broncos this week.
And I thought about picking Denver, too.
Denver's favored by 7.5.
Yeah.
I thought.
But so is Houston.
I thought the Chiefs were ripe to lose the AFC West. I mean, they've won it 9 times in a row, and now they're paying Mahomes big money, and they've lost their top 2 receivers, one to suspension, one to injury. Didn't know that. Didn't know about the injury, obviously, before the season started. And I thought the Chargers are coming off 11 wins and a playoff berth. The Broncos are coming off 10 wins and a playoff berth. I thought either one could win the division. I thought the Broncos, and maybe they still will be, were set to take a big step. A second-year coach, a second-year quarterback. It seems like there would be room for a lot of upside there.
Uh-huh.
But it hasn't. They've messed up 2 perfectly winnable games here, so they're 1-2 instead of 3-0.
Yeah.
All right, so ultimately, Houston's your pick?
Who are you going with?
Well, I was really going to go Packers-Cowboys until you
go ahead.
Until you started trying to talk me out of it.
No, that's me. I didn't try
now
to talk
I wonder
you
if
out
I
of it.
should zig rather than zag.
If you feel strong about it, good, do it.
Well, I just wonder about using the Lions right now. I have used a lot of the big dogs. Do I want to use another one? I mean, the Packers are a big dog too, though. So,
okay. Well, I'm going to go with either Houston or Buffalo.
Wait until you see the final score and then let us know.
No, I'll text you at halftime.
I did think about texting you last night. Man, I'm glad I took the Seahawks. Because we talked about how we weren't going to. But
when they were up 17-3?
Once they kicked the field goal, yeah.
23.
I knew it. I mean, I did think they were going to win, but no way did I think that game was a lock, and obviously it came down to the last play. Rather not have to sweat.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a big variance between those two teams. I don't see either of them being a serious threat.
All right, I'm going to take the Packers for a bounce back game on the road at Dallas.
Okay, good.
There it is.
Yeah.
And you are taking?
Yeah, it's just Houston or Buffalo.
Come on, pick one. Let's go. We got stuff to do here.
Well, I'll go with whatever one Yock doesn't choose.
Yock texted me. He's taking the Lions over the Browns.
Okay, I'll go for Houston and Buffalo.
Which one are you picking?
I have until kickoff.
No, you have to. We're doing this for the radio show. Let's go.
Okay, I'll go Houston.
Houston, there it is.
I'm saving Buffalo.
Now we've got 3 games that we can all watch and have a rooting interest in here. Thinking, did we make the right call?
If I change to Buffalo, I'll text you.
Okay, all right. And tweet it out so all our listeners know. I know you're not big on tweeting, but that you could go with.
Hey, I got Buffalo this week.
They want to know.
It's not exactly a bold pick.
I know.
My gosh, they have the biggest line, don't they?
It's an eliminate. The goal is to get them right. Who cares if it's bold or not? Be right. I mean, you're going to need some bold picks
but
at some point to get through it.
I want to have fun with bold. I don't go to the racetrack and pick a bunch of favorites.
Well, but if you think the favorite's going to win, you got to pick them. I mean, it's an elimination pool. You're looking for locks.
I know.
We're not picking coin toss games.
That's why I picked Matthew Fitzpatrick. I could have picked Rory. I probably couldn't because you guys had taken him. But it's more fun to win with Ryan Fitzpatrick, don't you admit?
With Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Or Ryan Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Ryan's just ripping his shirt off on TV these days.
He's a Phoenix guy. We all go topless.
You think it's 115 degrees?
Yeah, it's hot all the time. What do you want from us?
No matter where you are. All right, any other NFL storylines you want to share with the people?
A bunch of games, man. I'm interested in. I'm going to turn on Sunday morning. I will watch that game. I'm not going to necessarily be sitting in front of the TV at 7:30, but I will watch a good portion of that game. I love more sports, and I love this idea, especially back east where they don't get it that much. And 9:30 is not really super early, but they're used to having to wait until 1 o'clock.
I grew up in games in California that kicked off at 10.
I know,
so
but that's
people in the East are going 9:30 is early. I'm like, it's only
no, they're
half
not.
an hour.
I think it's a treat, whereas for you it was commonplace.
Yeah.
There, it's a treat. I think it's a brilliant idea by the NFL on more ways than one.
I think it's going to become commonplace because I think 2/3 or 3/4 of their foreign games are going to be in Europe. So this is going to become, if not a weekly thing, almost.
And I disagree with Kevin Graham, who said that it was dumb to start that game at 10 o'clock. I don't think it was, man. I think everybody was roaring to go.
If they'd won, everyone would have thought it was great.
Yeah, but Kevin, I don't think he necessarily cares whether they win or lose.
No, I know, but
he's talking about the 10 a.m. start
I didn't hear
time.
a lot of complaints to the anecdotal people wandering around. I didn't hear a lot of complaints about that. People, I think, either like it and embrace it because they're done and they got the rest of the day to do whatever, or they don't care. It's the biggest thing in their day, and it just
I thought it was
to
cool to be home after my work, be home by 3.
I like the way this week works out, where the 3 windows are all split.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
And you can actually watch the games. I'm sitting there every time I'm watching a game, and the games are overlapping. I'm like, I wonder if I should be, and put up the second screen and all that kind of stuff. But
I don't have. I do it if BYU and Utah are overlapping. Mm-hmm. I'm absolutely doing it. Yeah, I feel it's a requirement. I don't like watching reruns or taped games.
No. It's not as fun.
No,
You lose the drama.
I want to watch it now.
As it happens.
Yeah. I rarely watch sports taped. What I would do with the Pac-12 network is I'd go back and watch those games.
60.
Yeah.
Missed that. I missed that.
I do, because I can't see all those games. And plus, I had a personal rooting interest in addition to a job rooting interest.
TCU and Arizona State, you got a job interest and a personal rooting interest in that tonight. That is a really intriguing game. Man, ASU, if they win this, 4-1, 2-0, yeah, they got the one loss. It's a blip.
So
it's
what?
One play, non-conference, whatever. This would be another big win.
I think it's huge. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think whoever gets it is huge.
Yep.
Because you want road wins.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a fan of a team that has a rooting interest, or you believe has an interest, has an ability to win it all, you want the home team to win. You don't want the other teams to pick up road wins.
I think TCU is going to be a pretty substantial favorite in each of the next 4 games. It's hard to guarantee they're going to win them all because crazy things happen, but they really should. They got Colorado at home. They're going to K-State. They're home to Baylor. They're at West Virginia. If they win this, I think they're undefeated going into their showdown with Iowa State.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, really sets up for them.
If you're 5-0 in this league,
you're in a great shape. Yeah. I mean, they have Iowa State and BYU back-to-back. They wrap up with Houston and Cincinnati. This is a big game for them. If you were picking their conference games 1-9 with the confidence points,
100%.
The 1, 2, 3 games that I'm not sure of would be this one and Iowa State and BYU.
Okay, I buy all that. And then you got the Devils. They're trying to prove themselves. They took a big hit. They lost one game. But, and they didn't blow out Baylor. They haven't blown in anybody for that matter. And
they didn't blow out teams last year, but they won the league.
I know, but somehow that's different. You're right. I know they didn't.
I get it, but it's if they win.
But Levitt hasn't looked as good. And Scadaboo's gone.
Yep.
So there's this doubt. And now if they can win this, that puts them, okay, maybe they are.
Yeah.
Maybe we overestimated them and then we underestimated them in the span of one game.
But they could be 4-1 and 2-0 coming to Utah.
With a bye next week?
Yeah.
If I'm them, and obviously I have a rooting interest there, I would. If you told me in the beginning of the season 2-0, 4-1, I would have said, sign me up.
Sign you up.
Yeah.
They come out of the bye with Utah and Texas Tech, so the conference race will get defined for them fairly quickly.
That's huge. So you can argue that this is a must-win.
Yeah.
Because if they lose this one, they probably aren't winning those other 2.
Yeah, and they still have Iowa State looming down the road.
And then it's the same
season.
old Devils. 3-3. Are they going to get bowl eligible?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think they're getting bowl eligible. But maybe I shouldn't. Wait, I'm just doing math in my head. Never mind. You just
3-3.
Point.
You're at the half. How many times have they been 3-3 at the halfway point?
And you're 3-3 with Texas Tech and Iowa State still on the schedule. So you're right.
And then you got the Arizona game.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
You're looking at Colorado, Houston, and West Virginia being the path to 6-6 or 7-5, depending on the rivalry game.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. Fine.
Yeah.
So that game is tonight. Big Fox, 7 o'clock. We can focus on TCU and ASU. I will flip over and examine occasionally Houston and Oregon State.
Yeah, I'll be doing that and checking in on baseball. Yeah.
If Houston is going to be one of the surprise teams of the year, they need to handle Oregon State because everyone's handling Oregon State. They're 0-4.
Agreed. Yeah, I can't disagree on that one.
In addition, tomorrow there's some big games with Oregon going to Penn State. Number 6 Oregon, number 3 Penn State. Both teams
Nittany
undefeated.
Lions.
Do the Nittany Lions win a big game?
I hope they do.
Alabama's at Georgia. Man, if Georgia wins
Don't
that,
care.
how hot does the Heat get? DeBar.
Yeah.
That would turn it up another notch.
That's a whatever game for me. But I got to admit, I'm not exactly rooting for the teams that went and left the Pac-12.
Oh, yeah.
With the exception of Washington.
Why Washington?
Fish is my Jersey guy.
Oh, okay. All right, you got a tie there.
Yeah.
Well, both those
and
Oregon.
they're playing Ohio State, so of course I'm going to root for Washington.
Oregon, Penn State's on NBC. Alabama, Georgia's on ABC. They're both in that third TV window at 5:30 when none of our local teams are playing. So, if you're looking for a game at that point, if you're not up stretching the legs,
will be.
There are 2 games that one of them's got to be entertaining.
Right? I only leave the couch tomorrow for Bathroom purposes.
What about it? You walk the dog?
No.
Not on game day.
I don't walk the dog. That's her job.
That's not your deal.
I'll go sometimes, but she's the one who says I'm walking the dog. Plus, she's got a group of ladies. They walk the dogs, and it's become a secret society she's involved in. I often wonder what's going on. And if the dog catcher should be up in the area, boom, the phone starts lighting up. Dog catcher at 1 o'clock.
The Ryder Cup's going on right now, and it's not going well for the United States. John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton beat Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas 4-3. Ludwig Aberg, Matt Fitzpatrick beat Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henry 5-3. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood beat Colin Morikawa and Harris English 5-4. 3 points to Europe right out of the gate. Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland are one up through are one down to Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. The U.S. is one up through 17. So they got to win or have the 18th hole to get a point and finish the morning session with Europe up 3-1.
I believe if you own real estate in the U.S., you're not eligible to play for the European team.
They all have a ton of money and they all own real estate.
I know, but you got Rory basically. Everybody wants to, not everybody, but they dump on the U.S. and Rory the other day. This is the greatest country in the world. The land of opportunity. I'm so grateful for it. Grateful that I had an opportunity to come over as a kid, and he came over in Utah. He was buddies. I saw a picture of him and Fowler and Finau playing as kids. I want to say it's right up that canyon, right over there, Snickledorf.
Hobble Creek?
Yes.
Up Hobble Creek.
Yeah. So these guys got American connection. The American wives.
Canyon?
Isn't it that one?
No, I don't think so. I think it's that canyon.
Is it that one?
I think it's that one.
Okay, that one over there?
Highway 6. I think Highway 6 goes up there and goes off to Price.
But then you go over there, and it's right there.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't see a canyon over there.
Well, that's because it doesn't face us. But it's
there.
You
said
you can see a little bit
You said
of it.
See that canyon over there.
See the star right there. You're not looking directly up the mouth, but you can still see it.
I can't. I can only see a plane. Oh, no, wait, I can hear it. Yes, it is a plane. It's not Superman. And it's not a bird. It is an actual plane.
Glad you could recount that little bit of dialogue. You felt like you were reaching for it a little bit, but you got there.
What's the story of my life?
There you go. All right, we're going to take a break. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. That's what we've been talking about this morning. When we come back, your feedback, including the results. You're picking winners in the local college games. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Ooh, I was there. That's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it is time for your feedback. We got so many questions up. Are you excited to follow the Ryder Cup? Wes, always. I want to see Bryson versus Rory on Sunday. Ben, nope, I got paint drying. I'm going to watch that. Shane, not really, but I've laughed so hard listening to you try to talk over airplanes on the tarmac. I knew you'd like that one. That cracked me up. BYU, Utah, USU. What's it going to be for these football teams on Saturday? Jeffrey, probably sort of a football contest.
Jeffrey, your wife thinks you're funny.
Bryant's picking the upset. Colorado will beat BYU.
Ooh, I don't think it's inconceivable.
I think it's unlikely. Highly unlikely.
I don't know that I go
it's
highly.
It's not inconceivable.
You're starting a freshman quarterback, man.
Yes.
Everything is possible.
Right, but they're over there. It feels like a wash because they're over there playing multiple quiz with their quarterbacks. Try number 1, try number 3.
I don't think it's going to be this game.
Aaron, 3-0, baby. Represent the state, boys. I can't see Utah State going to Vanderbilt and winning. That would be a massive upset.
That would be big time. I would love to see it. Bronco would be on top of the world, although you'd never know it.
Kevin says the Cougs and Utes are going to win. The Aggies are going to keep it within one score, but they won't win.
I want BYU to win so I can regurgitate that text that I had or tweet I had last year. I knew one team would be undefeated going in October, but I never thought it would be BYU.
Oh, yeah.
And see if that guy goes at me like he did last year. Yeah, just blast me with obscenity, and then he has a lover of Christ in his bio.
Yeah, lover of Christ, and bleep you.
And he called me a POS.
Christopher, Utes are going to win 34-6. Cougs are going to win 27-21. Ags are going to lose 44-21. Very, very specific in his predictions.
I think in all my time trying to predict scores, I think I got one right.
You did.
It was like Utah to Oregon or something.
What was it? I thought it was a CSU Utah game, actually.
Okay, maybe it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I know I got one.
It was back in the early days.
Yeah.
We've got one. I hit Cal Utah right on the button when Utah won 31-24, and you were so dismissed. Somebody, you got lucky.
Oh, you got to.
So make a prediction, even when it's right. You're wrong. We give up on that after a while, though.
Yeah.
We got a lot of poll questions up on our Twitter as far as the predictions, just trying to get the pulse of the people. PK, 91% of the people, we got 140 votes in so far. 91% of the people voting so far think BYU will win, and 81% think they will cover the 6.5-point spread. I have to admit, I do think they'll cover that. I think that's a 10 to 14-point game.
Yeah.
I think that Utah's probably about a 10 to 14-point game, and the Vegas spread is 12.5. So I would not be interested in stepping into that one. That's right on the button. We've got 81% of the people voting for Utah to win. 47% think they'll cover. 34% think they'll win but not cover. And Vanderbilt, only 28% think Utah will go on the road in the SEC and pick up the win. 22% think Vandy covers. 50% say they win, but don't cover the 23.5-point margin.
That's crazy, man. That big of a margin. I just want Utah State to show well, be respectable.
Yeah. Another question Matty Ice has is why Vandy's a part of the SEC when they only have a competitive team once every decade. Who are they bribing to stay in the SEC? Everybody in the league, by losing regularly, they all want to win. Take the easy W. Someone's got to finish last. Might as well be Vandy.
Well, they want them to be strong in baseball.
There it is.
And they have been.
And they've been good in basketball. They've been great in baseball. Good in basketball, great in baseball.
Well, they're top shelf in baseball.
But now it looks like they're investing in football. They're 4-0. They got a conference win already, blowing out South Carolina 31-7.
What do they have over there? All that Brainiac money?
That's what they got. They've got Brainiac money. They've definitely got Brainiac money.
We got guys dressed in jump shoots out there. They look like they know what they're doing.
They look like they're ready to fly.
Yeah, there's 5 of them. Yeah. 2 greens and 1 blue.
So the plane's taking off in 15 minutes. The plane's taking
right in
off
front of us?
15 minutes?
Oh,
well, it's a good thing we'll be off the air by then.
But that would be cool to see.
That looks like a really
loud. Yeah, it's
I
going to be
believe
loud.
it.
No, let's stay an extra 20.
Nope, let's not do that.
It's so quiet now. It seems so eerie.
Yeah, it does. Right now, it is pretty quiet.
I'm going to be shouting the rest of the day and not realizing it.
All right, DJ and PK, we are all done here at Spanish Fork. The air show's tomorrow from 9 to 5. We got about 15 vintage World War II planes. You can get up in them, climb around, peek into the cockpit, ride in the apparently a few of these planes may be taking people up in the sky. Did not know about that. So you got that.
I had heard that. Yeah.
So
this thing has I would expect it to be really cool.
Allow an extra 15 to 20 minutes for parking. They're going to have 20,000 people here. They will have food trucks. You can bring in your own food. You get your tickets online or at the gate, although they're a little more expensive at the gate. sfcityevents.com for your tickets. All right, DJ and PK, we're all done. Jake and Ben are coming up next right here on The Zone.